56 Middays with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie. Sports 56 Middays is presented by FedEx. FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Marts.
From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series, and the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
The Tigers reclaim their crown by crushing Alabama.
Brady under center, victory formation, takes the snap, falls to an E, and that'll do it. The New England Patriots have won.
And Virginia with the all-time turnaround title.
We the North are now we the champions, the Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some
Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday to you. Welcome to Sports 56 Middays from the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn in today, producing the program in for Austin Eldridge. We are in the Family Leisure Studios, as I mentioned, on this Friday, August 16th, 2019. Sports 56 Middays, delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor. All the great folks at the FedEx Corporation. Make the most out of your e-commerce experience by finding insights and inspiration from other small business owners. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. We will get you set for the sports weekend with 3 hours of scintillating sports talk. We have some guests lined up for you. We have some goodies for you today on the program. But as always, you're welcome to participate. On the program, you can just kick back and listen, and that's great. We're fine with that. But if you want to call in, certainly you have that opportunity on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. You can text in on the First Bank text line at 67129, or hit us up on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Message us at Sports56WHBQ. All different ways to reach us if you want to talk about a particular subject in the world of sports. Today on the program, we're going to be talking about the Tigers' latest experience in the Bahamas, which wasn't much of a game yesterday. We will talk plenty of college football today, as we are right around the corner, a week from tomorrow. Some games underway, and then 2 weeks from tomorrow, in earnest, the college football season gets underway. Brad Logan will join us at 11:25, reporter columnist for Saturday Down South, as he will focus this year on both Ole Miss and Mississippi State, so we'll ask him a bunch of questions about the Rebels and the Bulldogs. Evan Barnes will join us a little bit after 12 o'clock from Memphis Tigers football practice at Lambeth. He's in Jackson covering the Tigers, who are there through tomorrow. They'll have a scrimmage tomorrow that's open to the public before returning home. We'll talk to Evan from the Commercial Appeal. And then at 12:25, our Friday regular Barrett Sallee, CBS Sports, Sirius XM College Radio, again on college football. We have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. And I will tell you that we will be doing it earlier than usual. Normally in the third hour, we will be doing 10 in a row sometime between 11 and 11:20. So prepare for that, as we'll play 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation, brought to you by Car Wash USA Express. And then we'll wrap it all up, get set for the weekend with one final thing. Lots to get to. Of course, Eli Savoie, today marks the 42nd year since the tragic death of Elvis Presley at the age of 42. So 42 years have passed. He would have been 84 years old if he were alive. And the vigil was last night. You did not make the vigil, you said, this year, right?
I did not go out there.
I'm sure there were a lot of people, as always.
I'm sure there were very, very much so. But
I wonder if the numbers have waned, or it just continues to be just something that's well attended.
It's well attended. I know last year when I went out there, it was
less than normal, although that was, we always go out there later than most. And last year they were charging to go through the line, and there were some things they did last year that didn't work very well.
How about this year?
No, they got rid of that. They announced they were not going to charge very shortly after last year's.
Right, that was just dumb.
They realized they made a mistake.
Yeah, they made a mistake, but give it up to them to realize that they did make a mistake. People come from all over the world. I was able to go out there the one time with you and Rob Fisher, and you said you got to experience one time, and I did, and I really enjoyed it. So anyway, for a lot of folks in town, obviously, for Elvis Week, and again, the King died 42 years ago today. Yesterday, we nearly lost a prince and his family because the Dale Earnhardt family, with Dale Sr. having tragically died on the racetrack, 7-time points champion, one of the greatest ever, the Intimidator, you would have to consider him the king, and Dale Jr.
Thought Richard Petty was the king.
I know, he's the king, but in this analogy, with the prince, right, would be Junior.
You can't cross my kings, and
it's all royalty in NASCAR.
I don't know my NASCAR nicknames, but I could have swore that Richard Petty was the king.
But we can make a little light of it today because they're fine, and that is the best news. Dale Earnhardt Jr., his wife, little baby, were involved in a plane crash. It skidded off the runway in eastern Tennessee. It was at Elizabethton Municipal Airport, about 20 miles from Johnson City, Tennessee. And if you've seen the video or just the still photos of that plane after they got out, engulfed in flames, you wonder, my gosh, how lucky they were to get out of there in time. Went to the hospital, precautionary reasons. They're fine. Great news. But, boy, that was very scary. You're talking about one of the most popular drivers to ever set foot in a race car and has been a broadcaster, not only for NASCAR, but he's done some other things as well in his broadcasting endeavor. So a near tragedy, but everybody's okay, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, he's going to take the week off from broadcasting this week. No surprise. I'm sure that's a little
unnerving, isn't it?
Regardless of how you come out of it, you still got to be a little shook up after something like that happens.
No question.
With you and your family, and that's got to be a tough one.
It wasn't a tough one for the Tigers yesterday in the Bahamas as they continue their 4-game trip. Today, by the way, is an off day, and already Penny and the team have done a lot of things on the island. They've been giving out some apparel to youngsters who live in the Bahamas. I think they put on a clinic as well. And last night they put a clinic on as well on the court against a team of basically a pickup team. That was the weirdest, strangest thing. I shouldn't be surprised by it, but we first heard that they were playing, I forget the name of the team they were supposed to be playing at first. Then it was the Bahamas National B team. I don't know what they ended up playing, but they had guys, and I joked about this on the show yesterday. I had no knowledge of these players. I said, yeah, they're gonna have to check out of work first, clock out before they run over to the basketball game. Literally, that's what happened. And at first, there wasn't enough to play the game. And then a couple of guys trickled in, and then they got a few more as the game went on. And the Tigers, again, no James Wiseman. Why would you even play the guy at all in this event this week? And then Precious Achiuwa, as everybody knows, their other 5-star pickup in the offseason as far as recruiting is concerned, he's back in the States. He's back in Memphis. They don't play. They put up 135 points, 24-second shot clock, playing international FIBA rules, win by 75 points. This is a very, in my opinion, important trip because of the bonding and the camaraderie and learning each other's tendencies on the court. But as far as competition, and I know Saturday, tomorrow is supposed to be a lot tougher, but that was a joke yesterday.
Well, again, talked about the first game that against the Commonwealth Bank Giants. I mean, their guy for their game against Georgetown said, we were shorthanded because guys had work obligations. I mean, that's what these are. These games are all I would assume over the weekend, maybe guys aren't working, so they'll be able to be there. These teams can expect their full rosters to be on hand, whatever that full roster is. But yeah, I mean, like these games are all fully subject to change. Literally, your opponent can change, and that roster can change at any. Like they don't. It's very strange. The national team, which they will play tomorrow, which beat Texas Tech on Wednesday, yesterday lost to Georgetown by 30. Now, I don't know if it was the same roster that played Texas Tech, because I don't know. I didn't compare the two box scores to see if maybe some guys have Wednesday off work and other guys have Thursday off work.
Right.
But Texas Tech played again yesterday and only won. They won by 2 yesterday. Texas Tech, maybe a rough year for Chris Beard. I don't know if they've got some guys who maybe aren't there yet or aren't on this trip that are going to be really good. But they, unlike the other teams, are struggling in the Bahamas.
I would take it with a grain of salt, but no question there'll probably be a big drop-off for Texas Tech from the great season they had last season. Now, here's the thing. People may be asking themselves, well, why can't they play other teams? Well, you can't. You can't. Georgetown is down there. You can't play them. You can't play any of these other schools. You can't play schools that are NCAA. Then what about, like, traveling teams? Because you often hear about a team, you play a couple of scrimmages, right? You could have that super secret scrimmage and usually you play against a fellow college team. Then you have the 2 exhibition games, and more than not, you play local teams like Memphis does, whether it's Lemoyne or Christian Brothers or both of them. But you've seen these like traveling teams from other countries that come, and I forget the name of some of them, and they play a lot of these exhibition games before the season starts against NCAA teams. But those teams aren't even assembled at this point. August is not. You're not thinking college basketball in August. So you have these trips. The competition of playing these games is going to be very, very limited. And as you said, these players who a lot of them don't live full-time in the Bahamas. Some of them may be junior college players. Some may be working in another country, maybe in the United States. Then they come home where they're from to the Bahamas, and they come home specifically at this time because they have the opportunity to play these games. But there's also the players that live there permanently and have jobs who have to clock out and get to the game. And that's exactly what we saw yesterday with guys in all walks of life on the islands working professionally in something outside of basketball and then playing for the fun of it. They're not getting paid to play these games. So you're trying to put together whatever competition you can for this trip. But really the most important thing are the practices leading up, the bonding and camaraderie that you get, the chemistry that you build. And the games, it's nice for the fans that are down there so they can watch their team beat the hell out of this team by 75 points.
Well, the thing, like the Commonwealth Bank Giants, they are a professional basketball team.
They are.
However, they're not signing $30 million contracts. So, like, in their offseason, they got to do other things. They got to try and make a living. I mean, their professional season is a 16-game season, and then they play a playoffs. Like, they're not making much money doing that. In the offseason, they're doing other things. So when these games roll around, they can have other obligations. They have to work.
Yeah, but that's a different team than what we saw yesterday. Yesterday
wasn't even a team.
Right. It was a pickup team. It was like going to the gym and picking guys. You pick one, then I'll pick one. You pick one, and I'll pick one. Unfortunately, all the good ones were on the one side.
But I mean, that's like I say, the professional team that is down there, they have guys missing because of work.
Oh, of course.
These other teams aren't even really teams. Like the national team, I guess theoretically is a collection of guys who are going to be on the national team.
Right.
But even that, I'm sure there are guys that have to miss some of these games because, again, you got to make a living. You can't just be like, you know what, I'm going to take the next week to play basketball and do nothing else.
Well, it's like a time warp. You're going back in time because back in the day, and I'm going way back, with professional athletes here in the United States, at the highest level, many of them had other jobs. They worked, and then in the off season, they had a damn job. Or golfers who had to support themselves by working other jobs while also trying to make money at golf tournaments. So it's almost like that old 50 years ago, 60 years ago, whatever it was, feel for those guys who are actually labeled professional basketball players in the Bahamas. But anyway, yesterday, DJ Jeffries led the team again. He had 22 points. Isaiah Maurice had 21 and 12. So you have Isaiah Maurice dominating down low. And again, you don't have Wiseman. You don't have Precious Achiuwa. You don't have Malcolm Dandridge, three of your bigs. And here's Isaiah Maurice. I wonder, and you can't take anything out of this, but I wonder how Isaiah Maurice fits in as a veteran presence for Penny when he has Lance Thomas, Precious Achiuwa, James Wiseman, and more than likely Dandridge is going to redshirt. But still, you're talking about three bigs you would think in the pecking order before you get to Isaiah Maurice, who is a very capable player who showed flashes, I thought, last year of a lot of talent and a lot of ability. And now he's added a three-point shot. He can step out. He's doing some things that'll make him more marketable to play professionally around the world.
That's a good question. I just don't know how there could be many minutes for Isaiah Maurice.
Yeah, it's hard to figure that out, right? When you look at this, where those minutes are coming from. But anyway, he went 21 and 12, 8 Tigers in double figures. They win by 75. Off day again today, and then back to action tomorrow. 4 o'clock is the game against that Bohemian national team, the A team, the team that beat Texas Tech, as Eli said, and then got clobbered by Georgetown. And then they'll play Sunday at 9 a.m.
I believe Clubber Lang plays for the team.
And then who knows who they'll play against Sunday morning. Who knows? It may be all the little kids today from today's clinic that they may play, and then they come back home.
I was thinking the Sunday team was the one that played somebody yesterday, but they did. Though it was they played. It was. I was thinking it was the team that played Texas Tech yesterday, but it's not. It was Texas Tech played a different team that they played somebody called, I can't remember what their name was, but the Raw Talent Elite is the one Memphis was playing. That was not who. I have not seen the Raw Talent Elite play any of these teams in any of the box scores. So I don't know who Raw Talent Elite is, or if Raw Talent Elite actually exists. So they may not exist. Sunday may end up having to be changed to a different team, because I have not found any of these teams playing Raw Talent Elite, whereas they're playing all of these other teams.
Look at you looking at box scores. You always get on my case. You're looking at box scores for this stuff. Are you kidding me?
Well, I'm trying to see who they're actually playing.
Oh, come on. It's an exhibition, Eli. It's not even it's a scrimmage, basically. Sunday, the Tigers are playing the Fishermen. I mean, really, truly fishermen. They're gonna fish, and they're gonna come over and they're gonna play these guys. Also, news from a former Tiger, as it was reported yesterday. Kevin Davenport has signed to play professionally in the Israel Super League. So in the Israeli basketball, they got a couple of levels. They play good basketball over there, and he will play in the Israeli Super League. Congratulations to Kevin Davenport. From the NBA, Patrick Patterson, as expected, has agreed to a 1-year, $2.3 million deal with the Clippers. No, I didn't write it down. Clippers or Lakers?
Yes, Clippers.
Yeah,
Clippers. And, of course, Lakers yesterday had the bad news with Boogie Cousins, as we had that news before we wrapped up our show. And it is a torn ACL, and the problems continue for Boogie. All right, when we come back from the break, Eli's not going to want to talk about this. He was absolutely right about his Cubs and the Phillies with an amazing come-from-behind victory last night. We'll talk a little Major League Baseball.
Well, I got a lot of things to say about last night's game.
Also, the SEC coaches and their all preseason teams were announced. We'll tell you a little bit about that. And some other stuff that I want to get to in this second half hour of hour number one. Then again, at 11:05 or thereabouts, we'll play 10 in a row. Brad Logan at 11:25, Evan Barnes at 12:05 on Tigers football, and Barrett Sallee at 12:25. So a healthy dose of college football news and notes. It is that time of the year. And once again, if you'd like to participate in the program, you certainly can. Hit us up on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. First Bank text line 67129, or message us at Sports56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Hey, everybody. Want to save some money on a brand new Chevy and get a full belly and for a good cause? Well, come out to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch Thursday, August 22nd from 11 to 1 to honor all first responders. They're going to have a big fish fry and a whole lot more with food, beverages, door prizes, and an ice cream truck. So if you're a first responder or appreciate our first responders, come out to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch on the 22nd and have lunch on us. And while you're out there, test drive as many new Chevys as you want, like the new 2020 Silverado. It's here, and the 2020 Chevy Blazer. And also ask about the 2020 Corvette. And not just that, the All-Star Chevy Challenge is just one more reason to head to Olive Branch for that all-new Chevy. Just take them any real written offer from any Mid-South Chevy dealer, and they'll beat it. So find new roads to Olive Branch, and don't miss lunch on us at All-Star Chevy on August 22nd. Remember, it's Olive Branch, not South Haven, people. All-Star Chevrolet on Goodman Road, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
We could stay here forever. We deliver olives, Greek sandals, and everything you need to relive that perfect trip to the Mediterranean. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Memories. What we deliver by delivering.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Mart. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. Later in the show, when Barrett Sallee joins us, he's got a story out right now on CBSSports.com that's a little peculiar, but I don't know all the details. Louisiana coach Billy Napier, that's Lafayette, announced Wednesday that every scholarship member of the football program will now be required to make a donation of at least $50 to the Ragin' Cajun Athletic Fund. That's according to The Advocate, but Barrett Sallee has that story up on CBSSports.com. The new policy will be optional for walk-ons. Interesting. Instead of paying players, right, it's the opposite. It's the players having to pay. So we'll discuss that a little bit later on in the show. But last night, Major League Baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Fightins, somehow completed a 3-game sweep of the Cubs because the Cubs, I now believe you, Eli, I shouldn't have doubted you. They can't win on the road. And last night they blew a lead, and the Phillies win in dramatic fashion on a walk-off grand salami by Bryce Harper. And now, the Phillies are hanging in there in that wild card race. The Cubs, Cardinals tied now for the NL Central lead, or are the Cubs behind?
They're still tied.
Still tied for the lead. You said you had a number of thoughts on what happened, so go ahead. All yours.
Well, just a few things to process from last night's disaster.
Here we go.
The Cubs now 23-38 on the road. They're 10-25 in their last 35 road games. After they retired the first hitter in the 9th inning with a 5-1 lead, the Cubs had a win percentage of 99.6. 99.6% chance of winning the game last night. They would not get another out.
I hate those things, by the way. The percentages with
The Phillies had lost 316 straight games when trailing by at least 4 runs entering the 9th inning. That streak came to an end. This is the first time since the pitcher's mound was put at a current distance of 60 feet 6 inches. Back in 1893, that the Cubs lost a game when their starting pitcher went at least 7 innings, struck out 10, did not give up a walk or a run.
Wow.
So, studying some real history. Something that did not happen in the entire 1900s. They went an entire century without doing that.
Jeez.
Plus, and they did it last night. It's just... this is why I do not watch them play on the road. I will not watch the road game because, and last night, I'll check the score every once in a while. That's when they're on the road. It's like, oh, up 5-0. All right, Darvish is pitching well. Looks like we might actually get a win. Then all of a sudden, I get an alert on my phone. Phillies beat Cubs 7-5. I was like, you got what in the world? How did they do this one? What magic did they just pull off tonight to lose this one? I mean, the bullpen, every good reliever they have is hurt. I get that. But it's like literally a 4-run lead with 1 out and nobody on base in the 9th inning. I don't care who you are. Like, put a position player in, they should be able to figure that thing out. But no, it's just they are an absolute joke on the road. It's dumbfounding that they're so good at home that they're still tied for first place, being as bad as they are on the road.
Well, number one, I chalked that one up as a loss, but when I saw that they had 2 runners on base, then I checked it out, and obviously it was a pretty cool night for me and the Bryce Harper fans out there. It's not been the greatest first year for Bryce Harper in Philadelphia, but that moment was pretty special. So, the Phillies need to win a lot of games, man, to hang in there, and to get a sweep over the Cubs is great. But you're right about the Cubs on the road. You said their record now is what on the road?
Overall, 23-38.
Okay.
10-25 in their last 35.
Okay, so 15 games under 500 on the road. I wonder what the worst record on the road for a playoff team is.
There's been 3 teams. They've done this. I know these. I've heard these stats a million times. There's been like 3 teams that have gone to the playoffs or something like that, 10 games or more under 500 on the road. The Twins actually won a World Series, being more than 10 games under 500 on the road.
Wow.
I can't remember the other ones, but every time the Cubs do play, especially if it's on the road, if they're on ESPN, for instance, like ESPN every time will put up the graphic about how bad they are on the road, and teams who have been that bad on the road who have actually been able to do something. But it's very, very few. But the Twins always, I know the Twins are one that when they won the World Series in, was it 87, whatever, that in that range.
Kirby Puckett run.
They were, I don't know exactly how many games. I know they were 10 or more under 500 on the road that year. But now they go to Pittsburgh and they play the Pirates, who are awful. They have been awful since the All-Star break. And a story came out today, the Athletic, they have that place. They've got players fighting with coaches. The Pirates have so many issues, it's not funny.
Well, Hurdle won't survive this. They'll make a change.
The good news for the Pirates is the Cubs are coming to town. Now, they do play Sunday in Williamsport, so maybe the neutral field, maybe the Cubs won't know. They won't know for sure. I don't. I mean, the Pirates, will be treated as the home team for that. Unfortunately, I wish the Cubs could wear their home jerseys because they have actually now they hang their home jerseys in their lockers on the road, trying to confuse themselves. That is not working either.
They need a shrink. They need a team shrink. They have a team meeting with all the players and figure this out.
It's really quite astonishing that you could be they're 22 over at home and 15 under on the road.
I was a little surprised last night after talking up the Cardinals yesterday that they always beat the bad teams, or seemingly do. They lost last night to the Reds, so they didn't take advantage of it. So St. Louis at 63-56, the Cubs at 64-57, both at .529 for the winning percentage, and they are tied. So they're tied for the NL Central lead. But if you look at the National League right now, the wild card, Washington, is up to 65-55. So Washington would have one of the wild cards. They're behind Atlanta still by a significant amount. And then you would have the Cardinals or the Cubs as the second wild card. But their lead now for that spot is tenuous. Milwaukee and the Phillies at 63 and 58 are a game behind, and the Mets, who have cooled down a little bit, 62 and 59, are 2 games out. So it's going to be a real fun race. The final, what do we have, 35, 40 games to go to see who comes out of that National League Central and who ends up being the wild card teams in the National League.
Yeah. I mean, if it ended today, or if it ends the way it is right now, the Cubs could have to do the exact same thing they did last year. Play game 163 to decide the division,
right?
With the loser of that going to play the wild card. Although this year would be, if it right now where it stands, it would be different than last year, because last year when the Cubs lost game 163, they then got to host the wild card. Right now, the loser of that game 163 would have to go to Washington for the wild card.
Also last night, another big night, yet another big night for home runs in Major League Baseball. Cody Bellinger hit his 40th, and then minutes later, Mike Trout hit his 40th. I think he's the first Angel to ever have multiple 40 home run seasons. Also, Pete Alonso for the Mets ties the National League rookie mark for homers as he hit his 39th.
It's Mike Trout may be having his best season, which is astonishing.
Right.
He's getting better, which actually he should be, because he's now like getting into his prime. But he might be having his best season ever. A guy who has been in the top 3 in the MVP voting every year of his career might be now having his best year.
As many terrific players as there are in Major League Baseball, there's no argument. You're going to come up empty if you argue that Mike Trout's not the best player overall in Major League Baseball. He is the best player. Not by far, but he's the best overall player. There are a lot of really good players, but save the argument. Mike is dialed in on the First Bank phone lines. Mike, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I was going to say, talking about the Cubs losing on the roads, the Rays have the best road record in the major leagues, but they can't win at home.
Well, they don't exactly get a home field advantage when they're at home with the 10 fans that are there. That's a little different. That's a problem for them.
Yeah, well, still you're winning on the road. It's pretty good. But, yeah, I understand down there that they kind of had an agreement to build a new stadium, and then the owner backed out.
Well, they had that plan earlier this year where there was the discussion of them playing like half the season in Tampa Bay and half the season in Montreal. So yeah. I don't know where that currently stands. Certainly, they have to get a new ballpark for them.
Right.
Not that that's going to matter, because we've already seen it in Miami. You can build a new ballpark. They're still not going to come to the games. But that park is terrible.
That's kind of really. I mean, I'm not super familiar with that area, but I know that they think they could draw tremendously better, in Tampa than down there, and I guess in Sarasota, Clearwater, wherever that is,
See, well, they're
in St. Petersburg. They're across the bay there from Tampa, and Tampa's where the Buccaneers play. So, but that's a team that's loved.
One other question: this is college. When you've got the college system there, you've got Central Florida in Orlando, right, and then almost parallel to it, you got Southern Florida.
Right.
And there's no South Florida below that line, which is kind of in the middle of the state.
I got you. Thank Mike.
All right.
Appreciate it. Little geography lesson. Yeah, South Florida it's a little south of Orlando, but it's west, and his point's well taken. It's certainly not in the southern part of that state, which is a long state, but that is in Tampa, and he's talking about USF. That's in Tampa, and it's not far from where the Yankees train. Not far. It's right across from like where Busch Gardens is, and not far from Raymond James, where they play their games, where the Buccaneers play. But the Tampa Bay Rays are across the bay, and they are towards the beach in St. Petersburg. The problem is that most people that live there, older people, and they have come from major cities around the United States, including New York and Philly and Chicago and all over. So they are fans of the Mets and the Yankees and the Phillies and the Cubs. And when those teams come to town, they have pretty good crowds. They are rooting for the other team. The Rays, unfortunately, those
spring training games probably draw just as well as
absolutely
Tampa.
And you feel bad for those Rays players because they seemingly put together good teams with young talent and then eventually lose that young talent.
I mean, the park is crap, but again, it's like Miami. I don't know that just because you build some new stadium, suddenly people are going to pass on all of the other beach and everything else to go watch the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, I don't. It might do better than Miami, but I don't know that. I don't think they're all of a sudden going to start drawing 30,000 fans a game for the Rays just because they build a new stadium.
No, and that's a lot of money because you're going to have to either have another dome or a retractable roof. You can't just have an open-air stadium, not in Florida like that. You're going to have days that are just oppressively hot, so you're going to have to build something that's going to be very, very costly, and they're not. Well, that's willing to do that.
That's why they had the half and half plan.
That was
so they could avoid the dome.
First of all, that was not going to happen. It was a veiled threat. I don't think anybody believed that was even a possibility. I can't even imagine that Major League Baseball would sign off on that. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Do half your games in Montreal. No way. And I wonder how the response would be in Montreal. Would they like the fact that they get a team for half the year? Like if it was
Better
even possible? Or do they go, nah, sorry, we lost the Expos and we've given up since the Expos left and went to Washington?
They need to just move both teams out of Florida. I mean, it's just they at some point you're just going to have to admit that Florida is not a Major League Baseball market. Like it's just not going to work.
Right. No, you're
when both teams are drawing. I mean, the Marlins are games. There's not 3,000 people there. Like they're literally playing in front of high school baseball crowds some nights. Like there's not a person there.
Yeah, and what is the long-term goal for Derek Jeter with that team? That is a joke, and it's an organization that's won 2 World Series titles because we know what they did back in the day with Wayne Huizenga,
but never won a division title.
Isn't that crazy? But to win 2 World Series titles and then after each year have the fire sale that they have to sell off those players and try to recoup the money, just amazing. NFL preseason last night. So you were looking at the box scores for the games in the Bahamas. Were you checking out preseason action at all last night?
No.
So you didn't watch Kyler Murray, did you?
The only thing I saw from last night's action was because I saw it on Twitter and then I had to watch it about 15 times to figure out what the hell happened. Was the offensive pass interference call in the Redskins-Bengals game that I still am beyond dumbfounded about.
Well, that's more than I watched. I didn't see that.
If this literally it's the classic defensive pass interference where receiver running in front of the guy, ball underthrown, he turns, defender doesn't know the ball's coming, so he just keeps running. Guy jumps in the air trying to make a play on the ball, defender runs smack into him and knocks him over, and they throw a flag and call offensive pass interference for it. And Jay Gruden is losing his mind. Like, are you what the hell? So lucky for him,
he challenges.
We can challenge this now.
Right?
He challenges it. They come out. They say, call stands at offensive pass interference. Like, I don't know how that to me that is literally the classic defensive pass interference. That is a 100% defensive pass interference. I don't know how you originally call it offensive pass interference, and then you get a chance to look at it on a replay. I have no clue how they could have upheld. Joe Theismann doing the game. Before they actually announced the offensive pass interference, he's there showing the highlight. He's like, yeah, this is obviously, guy never turns his head, runs right into him. This is an easy call for pass interference. And then the official announces offensive pass interference, and you hear Joe Theismann. He just goes, what?
We'll try to get Joe back on the show next week.
He had nothing. He just goes, what?
By the way, I don't know what the numbers are, but through 1 week of preseason games and now the start of week 2, it seems like when I've watched a game, every coach is trying to challenge. They want to see how it's going to go. And I think they're all being upheld.
They started, I don't know what, I think after last week, there was one change in, I think, 15 challenges, or maybe one, and then there were 15 that were upheld. It's either 1 in 15 or 1 of 15 that were overturned.
Yes, and of those 14 or 15 that were upheld, there were still some that you scratch your head and go, wait a minute, that seems like an obvious one that you're talking about, but I didn't see that. Some of the ones I saw, there were a couple that, okay, they're going to change this, and they decide not to change it. So again, if you're going to implement a rule in there, please understand the damn penalty and why you call that penalty or why you don't call that penalty. I'm talking about from an officiating standpoint. Because you have to I don't care if it's embarrassing if you were wrong. If like we can't be wrong too much, it's going to look bad on us. Reverse it. If it's wrong, reverse it, man. It's obvious stuff I've seen so far.
The NFL, they do the Twitter, like the NFL officiating Twitter thing, and they'll show like something. I don't know if they did that with. I got to go back and find, because I would love to see whoever was running the Twitter account if they could possibly come up with the explanation of why that call was upheld. There is no way in the world you could call that pass interference.
So last night, real quick on a couple of the games, the Raiders 33-20 over the Cardinals. So the Raiders 2-0 in the preseason. If you care about things like that, and of course we'll see a bunch of this stuff on next week's edition of Hard Knocks. But Kyle Murray played a little bit more than he did that first game when he only played one series, and I think it was a 3-and-out. 3 of 8, 12 yards, 1 carry, 4 yards. Not good.
Clearly a bust.
Not good.
It's over.
Well, you and I both think he's not going to be good. So, but
he's done.
No, but he's got a ways to go. There's no question, and to be able to expect high caliber stuff from him in his first year, I mean, that's a lot to ask for.
One of the interesting things from last night watching him is, did y'all see the refs were calling false starts on him? He had 3 false starts. Because
no, I didn't watch it.
He was fake clapping, and apparently in the NFL that is just blasphemous. They can't do that.
Really?
Yeah, so he had 3 false starts last night.
Wow. He'll learn.
That's got to be some sort of record or something.
He's a smart guy, but he's going against the first team Raiders defense, and then Brett Hundley comes in and he's going up against the second team. Brett Hundley's throwing touchdown passes, but again, he's a veteran. He's been in the league for a while. It's going to take some time for Murray, but I still don't think he's going to be this guy that lives up to those expectations, those lofty expectations, and the money obviously that he gets. Also last night, Cincinnati beat Washington, but Dwayne Haskins fared much better than he did in his first appearance. Threw a nice touchdown pass, 55 yards, went 7 of 14 for 114 yards. Threw a couple of picks in that first appearance last week, so good for Dwayne Haskins. Also, Baltimore beat Green Bay. No Aaron Rodgers, did not play in that game. I want to tell you folks about our first hour sponsor, and we can't thank them enough for being here with us each and every day, and that's Davis Motorhome Mart. Some of you may own a motorhome. Some of you may be thinking about owning a motorhome. Down the road, something that you've always envisioned, you and your family driving around the beautiful country that we live in a nice motorhome. Well, I'll give you an opportunity here to take in all this information and do what you want with it. Because if you are in the market, you need to check out Davis Motorhome Mart. We have this amazing motorhome mart right here in this city where people come from all over the country. They come from Canada to purchase motorhomes from Davis Motorhome Mart. They have over 7.5 acres. 7.5 acres of beautiful travel trailers, motorhomes, fifth wheels, toy haulers, towable half tons, motorhomes that range from 27 feet up to 45 feet in length. You can get them tricked out any which way you want. You can do whatever you want. If you can afford it, they will build it for you. Brands like Winnebago, Coachman, Puma, Highland Ridge, Tiffin. They are one of the top 10 Tiffin dealers in the entire United States. But variety with all those names I just rattled off. They are a family-owned and operated business. They've been around a long time, not only serving Mid-Southerners, but as I mentioned, serving people from this country and Canada for many, many years. You can look them up on the website at davismotorhome.com. Find out more about them. You can call them at 901-332-3414. When you do, tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays. Again, located at 1145 East Brooks Road here in Memphis. It's Davis Motorhome Mart. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, some college football talk. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. School's back in. Are the kids going to be running out of hot water every morning? Or worse, are you going to be out of hot water by the time they leave? It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. At Conway Services, we're making now the perfect time to replace that old energy-guzzling tanked water heater with a new tankless water heater with 24 months to pay, interest-free. Or I'll give you $250 for that old tanked water heater. These energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. And you know with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. See why I say now's the perfect time? Call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
At Sunrise on Jefferson, there are meals for every appetite, and sometimes you really have an appetite. That's when the plates come in. If you really want to fuel up, have the kitchen sink. 2 eggs prepared any way you like. Sausage, bacon, hash browns, biscuit, and Hannah Farm grits. Now that's a meal. Sunrise also has the best omelet. Look at the menu, it says it right there. The best omelet, and it's true. Spinach, artichoke, tomato, goat cheese, and salsa verde. If you're ready to fill up on breakfast, you're ready for Sunrise.
The forensic analyst searched for clues to the house fire.
Could that be
Starch? Suddenly it came together. The fire was started by
an over-microwaved potato?
Covered, July 25th, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Mart. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
The University of Tennessee becomes the 6th SEC program to approve alcohol sales in general seating areas for the upcoming season. Alcohol will be available at Neyland starting September 7th versus BYU.
I bet the BYU fans very excited about that. Yeah, it's so. If I've got it right, you've got Tennessee, Texas A&M, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Missouri, and LSU that are in the alcohol business.
Shocking that the Tennessee schools say yay as opposed to nay.
Auburn, Alabama, South Carolina, Kentucky, Georgia, and Mississippi State are no's, and we have no official word from Ole Miss or Florida.
Surprised about Kentucky. Isn't a prerequisite when you go to school there, like one of the classes you have to go to is like bourbon making? Kids are encouraged at a young age to drink in Kentucky.
Bourbon is not included in the policy.
Well,
so
it's
just
only beer
and wine.
That's true, but just any alcohol in general.
That's Kentucky may be boycotting it because they're hurting their exports.
Wow.
So the
never thought of it that way, huh?
At Ole Miss, again, Ole Miss does have, while there is the state law that prevents technically Ole Miss and Mississippi State, Ole Miss, unlike Mississippi State, has resort status, so they could get around that, but they have not made any announcement. And neither Ole Miss or Florida hosts a game until week 2 of the actual season, September 7th. So I guess there's a little bit maybe extra time there. But we're getting to the point. If you're going to sell alcohol, you probably got to start making those plans at some point here. And Florida at one point even said. Scott Strickland had said that they are basically said something like they are well positioned to do it because they did it when they hosted the Garth Brooks concert or some concert. I think it was Garth Brooks. And so like they feel like they kind of know how to do it. So a lot of people think that Florida is going to do it. They just haven't announced that yet. Ole Miss, I don't know what they're waiting on.
The preseason coaches, all SEC football teams were announced yesterday. They do 3 teams. So you do the math. Offense, defense, special teams, add up the 3 teams and come up with your number. No Ole Miss Rebels on any of the teams. They were the only school of the 14 in the SEC that did not place one damn player on any of the teams.
Same as the media teams.
Tennessee Vols got 3. Vandy got 4. Bama led the way with 16. Georgia was second with 10. Quarterback, as you would expect, Tua Tagovailoa, first-teamer from the University of Alabama. Your second-team quarterback, Jake Fromm. I'm trying to find the third team here. Oh, I have to look in the back. That's right. Did you see this yesterday? Kellen Mond, Texas A&M. What do you think about that?
Kellen Mond pulls in third-team honors. What I think about that is there's a huge drop-off between number 2 and 3 of the quarterbacks.
Oh, let's see.
I mean, that's just like you. It's easy to pick the first 2 quarterbacks. But you get to the third quarterback of the SEC, I think you put Bentley there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're putting Mond there. I don't remember in the media one. See if you can find the SEC media days. Who was third team? Or do they do 3 teams? Maybe they only do 2 teams.
I thought they did 2 teams.
They may only do 2 teams there, so they may not be a third. I can't remember. But there's probably about 4 or 5 guys you theoretically could put in that third spot. There is certainly
put Joe
no
Burrow,
consensus.
you could put Felipe Franks. You could put Kelly Bryant. You could put Jake Bentley. No question.
But it's
maybe Terry Wilson.
I think there is a definite big drop-off from 2 to 3 in the SEC quarterbacks.
The first-team running backs, again, this is according to the coaches, DeAndre Swift of Georgia, Najee Harris of Alabama, and Jalen, is it Waddell or Waddle for Alabama?
Waddle.
Waddle.
There actually is a third team for the media selections, and I think y'all get a kick out of this. Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Joe Burrow was there, so there you go.
Yeah.
So I think you would find a wide variety of third team guys based on who you ask for that. And that's you said so. Media goes Burrow, coaches go Mond.
They go Kellen Mond.
That's interesting.
We have, I think, a good debate on 3 through whatever as far as quarterbacks. As you said, the 1 and 2 are so far ahead of everybody else with Tagovailoa and Fromm. But there are certainly capable quarterbacks in that next group. It's just who's going to emerge. Last year we saw Felipe Franks improve under, and I really doubt, I doubted Felipe Franks, but he made a nice jump under Dan Mullen's leadership. And if he improves even more this year, Florida's going to be in good shape. Burrow's just a gritty guy, and he's brought a lot to. He kind of fits the mold of Orgeron, Joe Burrow.
But an LSU quarterback in any type of, all SEC situation just seems weird because their offense is completely based on running.
Well, back in the day, they had what's his name, who was the bust in the NFL.
Jamarcus Russell.
I mean, he was a guy who was slinging around. But remember, the offense is changing this year. LSU is going quick pace, hurry up. They're gonna try to run a lot more plays on offense. They're going to try to do a lot of different things, and Burrow may be the right guy for that job. He did last year a good job.
If my predictions are correct, at the end of the year, the third team quarterback would probably come down to either Kelly Bryant, Kellen Mond, or Felipe Franks.
Well, I like,
based on the records I've projected for the teams, those would be the 3 leading guys behind the other 2 would still be the top 2, and then third would be between those 3 guys.
Yeah, because they will look at wins and losses for a team, and they'll take a lot of that into consideration. But
or Tommy Stevens. Tommy Stevens would be my other guy. If my projections hold up, he would be the other guy in consideration.
See, I think Jake Bentley, if he had more weapons. South Carolina, I believe, is going to struggle this year, but I don't think he will have porous numbers. I think Jake Bentley has a shot to make an NFL roster. I really do. But will he be the third best quarterback in the SEC this year? There's just too many obstacles. But Kelly Bryant, there's questions because we know what he was able to do at Clemson, yet the layoff, now taking over, a new team, not as many weapons, but still some weapons there. I like Bryant a lot. I think it's perfect for Missouri. I don't know. And there might be a name or two that we're not even talking about.
I've looked at that Mizzou schedule, and I honestly, at the least, I counted 8 wins.
It's the ideal schedule.
Yes.
Like that you can't. It is sitting there on a platter for them. Like, and that's what I started doing it game by game. I'm like, well, this is like, it's hard to find losses. Like, I just don't know. And I've got them at 10-2, and I just don't feel like Missouri should go 10-2. But like, you go game by game, it's just hard to find losses in that schedule. Same thing with, Georgia at least is really good, so you feel better about that. But look at that Georgia schedule. Try and find the losses there.
But for Missouri, it's all about the waiver as well, is being able to play in a bowl, because it's not even a question of bowl eligibility. They may win 8, 9, 10 games, as we just talked about, but will they win the waiver? That's the biggest win.
Alabama, I had at least 3 games where I was like, okay, well, let me think about this one. Georgia, I believe I had 1.
We'll take a break. When we come back, hour number 2. We will play 10 in a row coming up in our next segment, so stay tuned for that. Brad Logan at 11:25 from SaturdayDownSouth.com. Evan Barnes will join us at 12 from Lambeth, where the University of Memphis Tigers football team is continuing preparations for the season. And Barrett Sallee at 12:25. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving. Built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire-roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Season tickets for the 2019 Memphis Tigers football season are on sale now and start at $100 when you buy 4 in the Family Fun Zone and $150 for end zone seats. The 6-game home schedule is highlighted with matchups against regional foe Ole Miss, plus AAC rivals Cincinnati and Navy. A season ticket includes the same great seat for all 6 home games, plus priority options to buy single game tickets, bowl tickets, and more. Be part of the incredible game day experience and get your seats today at GoTigersGo.com or call 901-678-2331. Stripe up.
When's the last time you went to a fish fry? When's the last time you went to a fish fry and it was free? Here's your chance this Thursday beginning at 11 at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Not only will there be free lunch, but you can see and test drive the new 2020 cars and trucks. And did I mention there'll be lots of food, beverages, an ice cream truck, and door prizes. Plus, Greg and I will be broadcasting live beginning at 10. The good folks at All-Star are putting on this to honor our first responders. So come out this Thursday with Sports 56 at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays. 11:02 is the time. Hour number 2 of the program on this Friday, August 16th, 2019. Hope your morning's off to a great start. We're getting you set for the sports weekend. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, and Gabe Kuhn, who's in today for Austin Eldridge. We're in the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. They're celebrating the end of summer with the end of summer liquidation sale. All types of great deals, including pools as low as $19.99. Swim spas beginning at $9.99. Take advantage of it. Go see them at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. And, of course, Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. In just a few moments, we will be playing 10 in a row, a little bit earlier than usual. So wake up the kids, jump on the phone lines at 360-8255. That'll be coming up in just a few moments. There was a thing on ESPN.com, and I didn't get a chance to print it out and give all and find all the particulars. But Kevin Pelton, who covers the NBA, put together a preview for the NBA season and kind of a prediction thing. And he did all kinds of the simulations, as people tend to do, to come up with win totals and predictions for the upcoming NBA season. And I don't have the number, but I can tell you this. Kevin Pelton, after all the simulations that took place, has the Memphis Grizzlies finishing in dead last in the West. Is it possible? Absolutely possible. I mean, nobody expects the Grizzlies to be fighting for a playoff spot this upcoming season. But he has them dead last in the West. And I think he has them 5th overall from the bottom in the NBA. So 4 teams in the East that he has worst. And I believe they are the Hawks, the Knicks, the Hornets, and I don't recall the 4th team. But he has them 5th overall.
Yeah, he is their analytics guy. I guess he's kind of the best way. He basically replaced John Hollinger when John Hollinger came to the Grizzlies. Kevin Pelton became kind of the analytics guy. And yeah, he basically just puts a bunch of data into a computer based on the rosters. He subjectively kind of projects the minutes for each player, all of that, and does this to get a win total. And he has the Grizzlies at 32 wins.
32 wins?
Yes.
Yet still 15th, right?
Yeah. Just by doing this, it's like there's only 3 teams that come out projected of over 50 wins, which, as he says it here, more than 3 teams will win 50 games, but it's just when you put this data in there and it spits it out, like it's just oftentimes you're not going to get that many.
Yeah, I think it's the Rockets, the Bucks, and the Nuggets, correct?
Yes, he has the Rockets at 53.8, Nuggets at 53.6, and the Bucks at 50.7.
If you told the Grizzlies, if you asked the Grizzlies fan right now, listen, you know it's not going to be a playoff season. We're hoping to see the maturity of these young players. There's going to be excitement. They're going to be competitive. You're going to win 32, but you're going to be dead last in the West. I don't know if you accept that, but you like, okay, because right now the projections are 25, 26. right?
I mean, they won 33 last year, right? Something like that.
You went
comparatively, when you're talking about a young team and you had Mike Conley and Jonas last year, I feel like that's a huge win.
If you won 32 games this year, first of all, I would be dead wrong because I would more than likely take the under if I was betting on this thing, which I won't be. 32 would be surprisingly good. I know it's not a lot. I know it's not playoff worthy, but 32 in this first year of the new regime and the new players and the young talent, I take 32.
Yeah, so I mean, they're the Western Conference in this. You go from 53 to 32. There will be a much wider. I'll guarantee you there will be a wider range between the most wins and least wins in the Western Conference than 21.
Yeah, no question about it. But I wonder why. Look, now do people believe that this is going to be a much more competitive NBA season where there are a number of teams that could make a run? Yes. I think that's the word. Ever since the Kevin Durant injury, which really started the dominoes to fall. So I believe that we're going to have a lot more teams in the thick of things, which probably means a lot less teams winning 50-plus or even 60-plus. But I would think we'd have more than 3 winning 50. 3, that's all. That's the projection. 3.
Well, he says as he says, more than 3 teams are going to win 50 games.
Right.
But you just can't. Again, and he's not predicting anything really.
He's just putting in the data.
He's putting in numbers off real plus minus is the main thing that he uses. The only thing he has to do basically is guess at minute distributions. So that is the one thing that he is subjective really in this, is that he has to guess how minutes are going to be distributed amongst the players. Like when DeMarcus Cousins, he had done this, and then when DeMarcus Cousins got hurt yesterday, he had to go back to the Lakers and redistribute the minutes that he had DeMarcus Cousins playing.
Right.
So he has to now divvy those up in a different way between players. And chances are there's going to be somebody new added to the Lakers that will take some of those minutes that he does not know at this point. But when he redid that, it cost the Lakers a one win for the season.
I wonder what he does with the case of, let's say, the Golden State Warriors, where it is possible Klay Thompson could come back at the end of the year. Nobody believes Kevin Durant will play this year for the Nets, but Thompson could. So do you factor that in? Do you even put that in the equation?
I don't know what he did with Klay Thompson.
Okay. Right now, folks, we need you to jump on the phone lines at 360-8255. That's 901-360-8255 as we play 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
It's the game show that has swept the nation 10 in a row, brought to you always by Car Wash USA Express.
That's right. Keep your car clean. Keep it looking great with the help of Car Wash USA Express and the many locations they have all over the area. All you got to do is go to carwashusaexpress.com. If you don't know where locations are, they've got a full list of them there. Find the one nearest you, and probably pretty much no matter where you are, there's going to be one nearby. They've got them all over the area. North, south, east, west, wherever you go, there's a Car Wash USA Express location probably very close to you. And it's simple. Only takes about 3 minutes to run your car through Car Wash USA Express. Vacuums are always free with purchase. Washes start at just $7, so very inexpensive. You can get the Fast Pass, which is the easiest way to do it. Makes it so simple. You pay a monthly cost. You can wash your car as many times as you want. And if you wash it twice a month, you have more than paid for that Fast Pass. So that's just an easy way to keep your car clean at all times. As they say, a dirty car is a dirty shame, so keep it clean, keep it looking great with the help of Car Wash USA Express. The winner of 10 in a row will get a 6-pack of Polymer Pro washes from Car Wash USA Express, along with a $25 gift certificate. No, you know what? I'm feeling good. It's Elvis week. I'm in a good mood, despite the Cubs. Maybe it'll make me feel better if I give something bigger away.
Spit it out.
Getting that Cubs thought out of my head from the disaster of last night.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go with a $50 gift certificate to the butcher shop.
Nice. Hey, today's a good day to take advantage of that. I know you
get a lot of burgers today.
You get a lot of burgers on Friday at the butcher shop. Okay, so here's the deal. as you know, I can't make it too easy for you guys because everything can be looked up in a second. So I went ahead and did some work last night. And I don't like to do too much work. So I could have easily, I could have easily asked you, top 10 home run leaders this year. You look it up. Top 10 home run leaders last year. You can look it up. So I've combined it. Top 10 Major League Baseball home run leaders the last 2 seasons combined, and that goes through Wednesday's games of this week. So last year, their home run total combined with this year, their home run total. Who's in the top 10 individually in Major League Baseball? I'll give you a name. If it's a yes, if they have done it, it's a yes. If not, it's a no. If they're in the top 10 home run leaders for the last 2 seasons. We have open lines right now, folks, so jump on them. 360-8255.
Get a 6-pack of Polymer Pro washes from Car Wash USA Express and a $50 gift certificate to the Butcher Shop will go to the winner of 10 in a row today. The First Bank phone line at 360-8255, 360-8255 to play 10 in a row. Tony will lead us off. What's up, Tony?
Hey, Tony.
Well, God, I got the privilege of going first, so we'll see.
All right. Nolan Arenado.
No.
Not a good start. 360-8255.
His name does start with no, so I could see why. If his name was Yeslin Arenado, he probably would have said yes.
Good point.
Let's go to Myron. What's up, Myron?
Hey, Myron.
Hey, what's going on?
Top 10 Major League Baseball home run leaders the last 2 seasons combined. Mike Trout.
Yes.
Chris Davis of the A's.
Of the A's?
Mm-hmm.
No.
360-8255. We have open lines, folks. I know you're scurrying right now. You're not going to be able to Google this thing. All you can do is Google it, get all the information, start adding it up, figuring out all these baseball players. It's going to take you forever. So just give it a shot. 360-8255. I know you're out there.
Again, a 6-pack of Polymer Pro washes and a $50 gift certificate to the Butcher Shop going to the winner of 10 in a row today.
That's fitty.
That's a lot of.
That's fitty to you.
A lot of burgers on Burger Friday. That's not that much.
Oh man, that's nice.
That sounds actually really good now that I start thinking about it. It is getting that time.
360-8255. Ladies and gentlemen, I implore you. I don't have all day to wait. We're going to play. If you don't want to play, we're going to end this thing. 11:25. Brad Logan's going to join us. Evan Barnes, 12 o'clock, and Barrett Salee, 12:25. We got a number of great guests coming up. I know we normally do this in the noon hour. But today, because of our guests, we had to push it up. So here we go. Again, top 10 Major League Baseball home run leaders the last 2 seasons combined.
Kelly is next. What's up, Kelly?
Hi, Kelly.
Hey, what's up, guys?
All right, here we go. Nolan Arenado.
No.
0 for 2 on Nolan Arenado.
I'm telling you, with his name starting with no, it just makes people think no. Although Nolan Arenado, pretty darn good. So, yeah, he's up there. Next up is Mark. Hey, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not much. All right, again, this is top 10 Major League Baseball home run leaders the last 2 seasons combined. Mike Trout.
Yes.
Chris Davis from the A's.
Yes.
Nelson Cruz.
Yes.
Bryce Harper.
No.
Paul Goldschmidt.
No.
Max Muncy.
Yes.
Hunter Renfroe.
No.
Cody Bellinger.
Yes.
J.D. Martinez.
Yes.
Alex Bregman.
Bregman. I'm going to say no on that one.
Gosh, that was great. He's a winner.
Mark, well
hey,
done.
There we go.
That was fantastic, Mark.
Congratulations.
Good.
You are a winner. You got yourself a 6-pack of washes, and you got a $50 gift certificate to the Butcher Shop coming your way.
I'm telling you, I worked on that thing to make it hard for people because they can look it up real easy. That was brilliant by Mark. All right, let me go back to list number 1, Eli, see how well you can do on this. Nolan Arenado?
Yes.
Mookie Betts?
Yes.
That's a no. Edwin Encarnacion?
Yes.
That's a no. Trevor Story?
Yes.
Jose Ramirez?
Yes.
That's a no. Christian Yelich?
Yes.
That's a yes. Rhys Hoskins?
No.
Max Kepler?
No.
Gary Sanchez?
Ooh, no.
Joey Gallo.
No.
Good run at the end there for you. Gallo was very, very close. The leader, and this doesn't even count his home run last night, which would make 79. Mike Trout at 78 going into this thing. So 79 dingers now for Trout over the last 2 years. Yelich has 75. Man, think about that. Not even through 2 seasons. And you're pressing 80 home runs. And you still have some time. You still have, 6 weeks?
Barry Bonds once did that in 1 year.
Well, Bonds cheated. Bonds cheated. These guys aren't cheating. I hope not.
Right, 75 home runs in 2 years. But Barry Bonds did that almost in 1 year.
Barry Bonds juiced to the gills with this ball, as we talked about yesterday with Jason Mott. Seriously, how many dingers? If they're only intentionally walking him the amount they did when he broke the record, right? But we're not going to add more intentional walks, right? We're using the juiced ball, and it's still the juiced Barry Bonds. How many dingers?
I have no idea. A lot.
Seriously, it may be 90 home runs.
It's just Barry Bonds. I don't know. I wonder if Barry Bonds at all, because if he ever got into all the launch angle stuff or not, or if he ever changed his swing during his career much to think about that, or if because he was pretty much before that. But I wonder if he ever had any thoughts of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was before all the numbers, the analytics, and all that stuff like that. But it doesn't mean that a player can adjust his swing to have more of an uppercut swing to launch the ball. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe there were some hitting coaches that were way ahead of their time as far as dealing with players to try to up their home run totals. I don't know how that is, but
I would love to see some of the guys in that era, some of the exit velocities on some of the balls they were hitting.
I'll give you one. Dave Kingman. He was launching them out of stadiums.
Bonds, like that, just going back to like the 98 season, I just like McGuire and Sosa, then Bonds and all. Even Canseco used to hit some just massive shots. I'd like to see some of the exit velocities they were getting in those days and how it compares to what these guys are getting now.
Yeah, look, I dig the long ball. Chicks dig the long ball, but it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, look at box. I still look at a lot of Major League Baseball box scores as a kid when I would get the newspaper. Man, I would look at every single thing. I'd have lineups memorized, all this stuff. Now I just kind of look at it, but I get a kick out of looking at the new box scores where you have the summaries and how they scored in the game. And I'll see these games. I'm going to look up just yesterday. Just throw it up there here and give you some of these scores. But so I would look it up, and then you go, second inning, home run, third inning, home run, RBI double, 2-run home run, sacrifice fly, home run. And like every game seems to be that way. Last night we had Miami. Miami's a terrible, terrible team. Terrible offense. They scored 13. Cleveland scored 19. The Mets had 10. The Minnesota Twins had 13. The Braves had 8 in a loss. The Angels had 8. There was only a limited amount of games last night. Everybody didn't play because it was Thursday night. And when you look up the summaries, again, most of these are home runs. And it's just crazy to think. And Major League Baseball is fine with it. They have no issues with it.
Why should they have an issue with it?
They shouldn't have an issue with it. What I'm saying is, they're fine. But I remember back in the day, as does most people, when some guy named Sammy Sosa and another guy named Mark McGuire were belting home runs, and everybody loved it, and Major League Baseball was fine with it, and the chicks were still digging the long ball, and then all of a sudden, boom. And then let's turn our backs to everything because we see nothing, we know nothing. It was the Sergeant Schultz excuse. And Major League Baseball then went through that period of time where it was just, everybody's cheating. It's so bad for the game and all that. and now we have a resurrection due to the long balls that are being hit.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for baseball.
Let me get Bill in real quick before the break. Bill, how are you?
What's up, guys?
Hey.
First off, Bonds and McGuire hit a juice ball. I've said this since then. I'll say it forever. His juice ball had more effect than steroids ever did, but we can argue that's another show. Here's the thing, and everybody talks about this new stuff. They're talking about the launch angles and all this stuff. If you actually, this is the way Bonds was hitting before. Coaches forever, for years, teach you that archaic stuff of hit it on top of the ball, hit ground balls, hit the ball into the dirt. And we've come to find out, no wonder guys are hitting 250 all the time. Because it's hard enough to hit a baseball. Now you're trying to just hit ground balls. It's ridiculous teaching, and it's been going on forever. These guys finally got some good hitting coaches that taught you on hitting the ball before it drops. But if you watch Ted Williams, if you go back and look at film of him and break it down and watch it when he makes contact, his hand is literally under the ball, and he's got a launch angle on the ball, and that's why he hit hard balls all the time. He got more of the bat on the ball at an angle that wasn't going into the ground all the time, and that's what guys have finally broken it down and gotten the egos out of the way and trying to learn something out of it. Now, some of these old guys are still trying to talk down about it, but what's going on is guys are actually putting it in effect, and now I do believe there is a juice ball, and the combination of the two is what's created a lot of home runs for guys that wouldn't normally hit so many. But at the same time, I mean, it's just a way to hit. I teach little league guys not to hit uppercuts. Some people get confused with that. Yeah. But the point of it is you want to get the big part of the bat get on a plane with the baseball, not on top of the baseball, but you want to get with the baseball and drive the ball. And that's what you're seeing now in all around, and that's why you're seeing the results. And it's scaring pitchers because they're used to coming out and just lollygagging around and holding the team down to a couple runs so they can throw strikes. But they ain't like that anymore. If you throw strikes, they're going to make you pay for it.
I will give you, Bill, you're absolutely right, and I will give you an example. He was of the school of the Ted Williams school of hitting, and that's Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn learned from Ted Williams, and he would use all fields, right? He would go the opposite way, he'd slash it out the left field. But you're right about getting the barrel of the bat around. Now, he didn't hit a ton of home runs, which still goes back to my thought process is the ball was normal, and now the ball's juiced. And maybe you have a good point about the McGuire era, but the Tony Gwynn era certainly was a guy who was slapping it to all fields, and that great art of hitting.
He was slapping that line drive, so you're right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
But Ted Williams did hit home runs, so you're right. There was.
But yeah, he was bigger and stronger.
He was bigger and stronger and could launch it, but it wasn't an uppercut swing. Bill, I think you hit it out of the ballpark, my friend. No pun intended.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, man.
The same technology that gives us baseball's exit velocities and all of that stuff, that's the technology that you can get now over on the range at Golf and Games Family Park. With the Top Tracer technology, you can get information on your golf ball when you hit it there. Distance, carry, ball speed, all the curve, everything that you need to kind of get an idea of how you're hitting it. You get all of that instantly with the Top Tracer technology at Golf and Games Family Park. It's great. The technology is like mind blowing to me when you see just exactly there's like one camera and it can take care of so many different things and how quickly it gets the data off of when you hit the golf ball. It's absolutely amazing. But not only can you get that information, but you can do great things like that. You could get entered in the long drive. They do a monthly long drive competition, the closest to the pin. You could play virtual golf at various courses, including Pebble Beach and St. Andrews, among many others. Of course, they've got all kinds of other great activities that you could take advantage of at Golf and Games Family Park. But if you have not been over there on the range and tried out the Top Tracer technology, you need to do it. There's a points game, much like Top Golf, which everybody knows about, of course. You could do the same type thing over at Golf and Games Family Park. Great for family outings, company outings, date night, whatever you're looking to do. You can have some fun over at Golf and Games Family Park, 5484 Summer Avenue. And the great thing is they're open till midnight. So even when it's hot outside during the day, you can wait for that sun to go down, go over there and hit under the lights, still have all the great fun, and it's a little bit cooler when you're doing so. Again, go check them out with the Top Tracer technology at Golf and Games Family Park.
We'll talk some college football, specifically Ole Miss and Mississippi State. How are camps going in those two places? Brad Logan from SaturdayDownSouth.com is next. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. It's an exciting time to be a Memphis Tiger fan, and we at Five Ash Roofing have decided to share our excitement. We are proud members of the Tigers home team, which means we sponsor the Tigers athletic department, and we're also season ticket holders to both the football and basketball programs. We will be giving away 2 and sometimes 4 tickets to most of the games this coming year. To have a chance at winning the tickets, find our Facebook page, like, and share our post. The more you share, the more chances you have to win. We also want to give away some tickets to those who wouldn't otherwise get a chance to go. So, you can go to memphisroofer.com or 5ash.com and send us a note why you or someone you know should get the tickets. And as always, 5Ash Roofing is fair, honest, and ethical. We're experts in all forms of roofing for both residential and commercial buildings. 5Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving, built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays on this Friday, getting you set for the sports weekend. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, and Gabe Kuhn halfway home. In the next 90 minutes, a lot of college football, and we're fired up because the season is just about upon us. A week from tomorrow, some games underway, including that Florida-Miami game. We are going to start things off talking some SEC, specifically Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Our friend Brad Logan, reporter columnist for Saturday Down South. You can follow him on Twitter at Brad Logan, COTE. He specializes in the Rebels and the Bulldogs, and he joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Hey, Brad.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. And, like you said, Greg, 15 days away, and
I'm just so excited about the first game of the Liberty Bowl. Like Brett Norsworthy always says, if they kick a football in the Liberty Bowl, I want to be there to watch it. Great sidelines. I know it's going to be hot, but it's going to be football, and I'm just really excited about it.
You posted a picture yesterday on your Twitter feed, and it was a picture of the Superdome, and then it was on the other side was Liberty Bowl Stadium. I had never seen that picture of Liberty Bowl Stadium. It was packed, and in the background you saw downtown and the mighty Mississippi. That was an outstanding photo. I don't know where it came from, but that was beautiful.
It was. A Memphis fan, actually, that I've corresponded with on Twitter sent that to me. And it's the best picture of the Liberty Bowl I've ever seen. Jeb Stewart, I believe is his name, great Tiger fan. And Jeb sent that to me. We corresponded, and I credited him with that picture. And look, I mean, the Liberty Bowl is a wonderful venue to watch a game, and that's why I can't wait to see it. And I always enjoy a chance to cover a football game for the Liberty Bowl. But yeah, tweeted it out. 15 days. Mississippi State will be facing Lafayette down in the Superdome, and Ole Miss will be facing Memphis for the final time for as far as we all know in the Liberty Bowl on the upcoming Saturday on the 31st.
From what you know, what you've been able to find out, how is camp progressing for Ole Miss?
Everybody's looking at that offensive line, Eli, and everybody's looking to see what's going to happen. There are a couple of names that we need to remember come that hot August day when an Ole Miss and Memphis tie it on, and it's going to be Bryce Matthews. Another name to remember is Royce Newman, and then the two freshmen, of course, that Matt and Luke cannot talk enough about. That is Nick Broker and Jeremy James. Those are two players that have really been, a surprise positively for them. They kind of knew they would play, so they're going to play for sure now. But I think everybody's kind of missing the point is with Alex Gibbons, which I do not think he will play. He's still going through a protocol to get over those back spasms. He's on a very productive path, and we're told that everything is going well. But, those are very difficult things to overcome. He had surgery on that. And right now, Michael Howard, a little light to be playing right tackle, but he's gained some weight. They say he's gained 15 pounds or so. So that's something we're going to be looking at. The second thing everybody's talking about, guys, is Snoop Connor. He's a true freshman running back out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. He had about 68 yards on 15 carries in the spring game. He was an early enrollee. But the kicker we're being told is he's kind of running with the twos now. And that's a big, big deal because that means he's jumped Isaiah Williams. That means he's jumped Devon Penniman. Devon Penniman, we've also been told, has been moved to a slot/tight end position because of the injury to Jason Teller, and he's in a concussion protocol. So that's a guy that we need to be watching, too. He's an elusive running back that looked well in the spring, and apparently he's continued to turn heads here in the fall camp.
Well, you're going to, and I mean Ole Miss is going to need several running backs because Scotty Phillips' load is supposed to get a little bit heavier, according to everything I've read. And in this Rich Rodriguez offense, that means needing a second and a third running back to come in and spell Phillips with this offense that they want to push a little bit up and down the field.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the talented five-star freshman out of Jackson Prep, Jerrion Ely, who's had a terrific camp. He's returned a lot of punts in the preseason. From what we understand, we're very limited on our availability.
Right.
But another name that you might want to remember, like I said, is the name of Isaiah Williard. He may have been bumped for second team, but an interesting thing that Coach Rich Rodriguez told us in the preseason media day that we had with him is that he's going to go to a lot of two-back offenses, I guess, sets or what have you. Mm-hmm. That's something we haven't seen in Oxford for quite a while.
No.
So that just means that we're going to see more of that Jerrion Ely / Devon Penniman / of course, Scotty Phillips. And now with the resurgence of a Snoop Connor out of Hattiesburg.
What about on the defensive side? How are they coming along there?
Oh, boy, you hear all the positives about how, I've heard a lot, and I wrote about this story I think it's going to run today, but we're talking about kind of where the camp is at this moment. Lakia Henry, the number one junior college linebacker in the country that decided to come to Ole Miss over Arkansas, he's turning a lot of heads. I expect him to probably start alongside Sam Williams and Momo Sonogo in that 3-4 new front they've got, what have you. Kadir Shepard, I know you guys have heard he's out. He's on the shelf for about, I guess, probably 5 more days with a broken hand. They'll probably make a club out of that. and then he will play. So that'll be the 4 main linebackers. But, yeah, the Henry is turning a lot of heads. But, look, let's be honest. This defense was one of the worst in the country, specifically at linebacker last year. And until they prove something on the field, I'm not going to believe anything. So I'll just kind of wait and see on the 31st. But everything we've heard out of camp, there's very, very limited injuries. Jalen Julius has tweaked a knee a little bit. Nothing serious there. Sam Williams, like I said, he's got a little bit of an injury. Kadir Shepard's got the hand injury. If they were to play on Saturday, I think everybody would go, but that's pretty much been the extent of the injuries. The question now is how good is Miles Hartsfield going to be? Who's going to be that defensive player that's going to come up and make tackles? When is players like Sam Williams? When are players like Willie Hibbler from Sardis at North Panola? When are they going to make that big step? And until they make that step, I'm going to withhold judgment about this defense.
And then the obligatory Matt Corral question for you. How's his progress? I know, as you said, you don't get a lot of opportunities to watch practice, but from everything you've heard and what the coaches have said, how's Corral coming along?
Greg, it feels like he's a junior. It really does. He feels like a seasoned veteran. We had a chance to speak with him in the very beginning of camp. He's spoken to the media since then. He's got this offense down. Rich Rod is very pleased about where he is. In fact, now they're just trying to groove Grant Tisdale, Kincaid Dent, who's a player that's been in concussion protocol. Mm-hmm. They're trying to find a backup for him. Right now, it looks like it's probably going to be Grant Tisdale, but he's out of Texas. He can run it pretty well. It's great. It's Matt Corral's offense, not only to lead his quarterback, but he's leading this team right now. I mean, they're going to him for a leadership position, and that's the least of Ole Miss's worries right now. Obviously, we haven't seen him a lot of live SEC action, but everything we've seen, he's been really, really good in all aspects of the game in regards to the offense.
Brett, has there been any update? We were talking about this earlier. Ole Miss, as far as I know, has not said anything yet about whether they will sell alcohol at the games. Have they said anything, or do you know when they might be making that announcement?
I don't know. Eli, it's been, Keith Carter has been very, and this is not fair to Keith if I say he's been wishy-washy, but he hasn't really picked a side. I think Keith's trying just to find an answer. When you got teams like Tennessee and Vanderbilt, reputable programs, Alabama, those programs are coming out. And look, let's be honest here. Ole Miss is in a financial crisis since this administration just completely botched this NCAA investigation, and they went into the well and really pulled out a lot of money. That could be a way to recoup a ton of money if you were to sell alcohol. And here's what I said. If you have, people that are really adamant about not wanting to be in those sections, make a prominent section of Vaught-Hemingway Stadium alcohol-free and make that a family-friendly zone to where not only are you not going to be able to sneak it in, you're going to really enforce the alcohol policy. Now you're not going to be able to sell it there. Right now, you can pretty much drink inside Vaught-Hemingway. Let's be honest. They sneak it in one way or the other. Now you can be very, very steadfast and really kicking out all the alcohol in those bigger sections. That's just one way you could do it. Plus, you can monitor, how much you sell. You get into the third quarter. There's been studies shown, specifically at Iowa State, where they've sold it, and they've been very, very, adamant, hey, we're going to sell it here. We're going to keep the drunks out here. We're going to really monitor it. So, but to answer your question, no, they have not. They've not come out and said one way or the other. But I do think it would be something proactive they could do to generate money in that aspect. I think that would be the number one thing right now.
Brad Logan joining us, reporter, columnist for Saturday Down South. You can follow him on Twitter at Brad Logan, COTE. Let's move down the state a little bit from Oxford to Starkville and talk a little bit about Mississippi State. You've been down there in Starkville. I'm not sure how much you've seen of them practicing, but what are your thoughts in general of what has happened so far in camp?
I like the process of the defensive backs. Maury Smitherman, he's a veteran, along with Cameron Dansler. They lost 8 starters off of defense from last year with Bob Shoup as the defensive coordinator. And here's the thing, Greg. This is a team that hasn't had a defensive coordinator in consecutive years for the last 5 years. So now they've got a defensive coordinator with the same scheme another year. So that's another pro for them. Defensive tackle, boy, they lost a lot to the NFL between Montez Sweat and Jeff Simmons. Those are 2 big-time players going in the first round. And really they haven't had anybody that stepped up and grabbed the reins. I fully anticipate Fabian Lovett out of Olive Branch and Nathan Pickering out of Seminary to play early. In fact, I think they'll get significant snaps in the SEC. So that may not be a good thing right now, but linebacker with Errol Thompson, he's playing so well. Willie Gay's really stepped his game up. It's time for Leo Lewis, the senior, to step up. He hasn't, done as well as they thought in this fall camp, but defensively, I think they're going to be pretty solid. But as for things that you see, either yesterday or the day before, Keaton Thompson, the quarterback out of Louisiana, the one that was supposed to be the starter after Fitzgerald, who came in and spelled him last year, had a red jersey on. He was on the bike a lot. Don't think it's anything significant. He actually came out and ran a little bit. But look, I think this is Tommy Stevens' offense to run. This is a situation very similar to when Ole Miss brought in Chad Kelly. They had Buchanan from down in Jackson that was going to start. Hey, he was never going to start. This was going to Ryan Buchanan was his name, and it was always going to be Chad Kelly's offense. I think the same way. Tommy Stevens, he's polished. He's got this offense down. Moorhead recruited him when he was at Penn State, and he is a fantastic quarterback. He spins it well. Doesn't run it quite as well as Fitzgerald. I don't think he's going to need to with Colin Hill in the backfield along with Nick Gibson. So I think this offense is going to be a well-oiled machine. There's a question mark that's going to be at receiver. Cyrus Mitchell, Stephen Guidry, players that are veterans that are going to have to step up. Too many drops last year, and they're going to have to improve at wide receiver. But the player right now to watch is Keaton Thompson. Had on that red jersey, so we need to see where he is. But I don't think he'll be the starter come kickoff in Louisiana.
With the fact that you have with Stevens and then you have another guy with some experience in Keaton Thompson, I mean, I guess that's because we were talking about earlier, like you look around the SEC, after those top two quarterbacks with Tagovailoa and Fromm, like there's a big drop off, and then there's a bunch of guys. Like anybody could emerge out of that group, maybe be the next best quarterback. The idea of having another guy that you can lean on if needed, I guess gives Mississippi State maybe a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, and not to jump off the beaten path real quick here, I want to point out, we talked about the Auburn battle. I was on WNSP down in Mobile, and they think that Gatewood has a pretty good edge right now over Bo Nix. I know we talked about that. So, yeah, that's another issue. And like Eli said, it's just a bunch of dudes after the top guys. And so I think we'll learn a lot after the first couple of weeks of the season. But I think it's nice to have a Thompson there with experience.
Yep.
But, from everything I've seen and from everything that I'm hearing, Stevens is a decisively better quarterback than Keaton Thompson, and they expect him to take the snaps. But across the SEC, I'm interested in, we haven't talked about Arkansas. What are they going to do? Mm-hmm. There are other places around the league with South Carolina, and then, of course, got Felipe Franks at Florida, but, he didn't just set the world on fire. So, yeah, there are a lot of question marks going into the season. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, your point well taken about Stevens. He's brought in from Penn State where Joe Moorhead was. You just add it up. It means that he's probably going to be his guy. Same thing at Arkansas, I believe, at least to start. I would think that Chad Morris and his connection with Ben Hicks at SMU would mean that he would get the upper hand and he would start over Nick Starkel. It doesn't mean that they can't use two quarterbacks or they won't use two quarterbacks depending on health and ineffectiveness. But I think you mentioned Arkansas. I would think that would be the same as what's going on seemingly at Mississippi State. So we'll see how it all transpires. But again, this Saturday, not tomorrow, but a week from Saturday, you have the start of college football with a couple of games, including that Florida game against Miami and Orlando. But as Brad said, that week after, August 31st, including the game right here in Memphis between the Rebels and the Tigers as college football season begins in earnest. We can't wait. Make sure, folks, to read all of Brad's great stories at SaturdayDownSouth.com, and you can follow him on Twitter at BradLoganCote. Brad, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for the insight.
Thanks a lot, gentlemen.
Take care. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. It's a simple call away. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084, and he will have all your answers. They'll take care of you. You can go online to find out more about the company as well at newroofmemphis.com. They are locally owned and operated. They offer financing with many different plans and options, including a 6, 12, or 18-month, same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket. They do residential and commercial roofs, so business owners and property managers, if you have a leak or any other roofing issue, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection, licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. Don't forget, a $100 referral fee for all new roofs. Brandon is a certified shingle installer, so he could take care of that for you if you're missing shingles off your roof, but they could also do other renovations around your home, like replacing gutters, putting up siding, carpentry work, exterior painting, rotten wood repair. They can do it all. If you can do it yourself, great. If not, you call the experts. Your one-stop shop for all your home repair needs. Satisfaction is always guaranteed with Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Again, a simple phone call, 901-438-5084. Brandon will answer. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays, or go online to find out more about the company at newroofmemphis.com. We will take a timeout, come back with more Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports Time with Rollo and Stats. Every weekday afternoon from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hey, everybody. Want to save some money on a brand new Chevy and get a full belly and for a good cause? Well, come out to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch Thursday, August 22nd from 11 to 1 to honor all first responders. They're going to have a big fish fry and a whole lot more with food, beverages, door prizes, and an ice cream truck. So if you're a first responder or appreciate our first responders, come out to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch on the 22nd and have lunch on us. And while you're out there, test drive as many new Chevys as you want, like the new 2020 Silverado. It's here, and the 2020 Chevy Blazer. And also ask about the 2020 Corvette. And not just that, the All-Star Chevy Challenge is just one more reason to head to Olive Branch for that all-new Chevy. Just take them any real written offer from any Mid-South Chevy dealer, and they'll beat it. So find new roads to Olive Branch, and don't miss lunch on us at All-Star Chevy on August 22nd. Remember, it's Olive Branch, not South Haven, people. All-Star Chevrolet on Goodman Road, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Put the Case IH legacy of power and efficiency to work in your hayfields and feedlot. Mid-South Ag Equipment has tough Case IH farm-all tractors that can handle a variety of chores fast. With their expert blend of engine and hydraulic power, farm-all tractors can easily tackle loading and material handling chores, as well as mowing and baling. Models range from 65 to 90 horsepower, so you're sure to find one that's perfectly powered for the jobs you do. Stop in or call 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag Equipment, your Case IH headquarters. Family Leisure is celebrating the end of summer with the appropriately titled End of Summer Liquidation Sale. You can get pools for as low as $19.99, patio furniture starting at $12.99, and swim spas, they begin at $99.99. Don't forget to ask about fast installation because there's still enough summer left to enjoy these deals during the End of Summer Liquidation Sale happening now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hi, friends. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Jewelers. One of the things that we are proudest of at Russell Brothers is the service we offer above and beyond just selling beautiful jewelry. We know that fine jewelry and superbly made timepieces require expert craftsmanship to keep them in the best condition possible. We know that a simple thing like a watch battery becomes a very urgent need when your watch stops running. And that $7 battery becomes just as important as a wonderful gift of jewelry for a loved one. Taking care of our customers' jewelry and watch repair needs is a priority for us at Russell Brothers, and we pride ourselves on the quality of the work we do. For almost 35 years, our valued customers have trusted us to design, to make, to appraise, and to maintain their treasured jewelry and keep it in mint condition. At Russell Brothers, selling fine jewelry is just the very beginning of what we do. Come see us and let us be your full-service jeweler. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Coming up a little bit later here in our final hour, I'm going to give away another pair of tickets to see Jim Gaffigan. He'll be at FedEx Forum tomorrow night, 8 o'clock show. And we've got a pair of tickets we'll be giving away coming up in our final hour today. So earlier you brought up the whole story about Louisiana Lafayette head coach Billy Napier and the players giving money to the, whatever it's called, the fundraising thing.
Right, fundraising arm for Lafayette, Louisiana's, as it's now known, athletics.
So here's how that all came about and how this is really just a case of people using words that were not used. media construing something that wasn't there.
Oh, the story that we reported earlier. Okay.
They had this on Wednesday night. The director of the Ragin' Cajuns fundraising arm spoke to the team. He has somebody come in and speak every week, and this week it was the head of the fundraising arm there.
Which would be similar to what if the Highland 100 president spoke to players. And Gabe, that's probably happened when you were at Memphis, right? The Highland 100 president would speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, plenty of time.
So during the talk from this, apparently the players were just brainstorming ways that they would be able to how could they help out this thing.
Okay.
And Napier suggested one thing you could do would be put aside money from your scholarship stipend and become a donor, which requires a minimum contribution of $50. At no point was it something that was required. It was simply, here's one thing you could do. And that's basically it. And then it turned into that he had said that it was required for them to do that, which it was not.
Right. I'm looking at Brett McMurphy's tweet now. School says student athletes will be encouraged and not required. So, yeah, I mean, look, sometimes whether it's done purposely to make a story more interesting, things are fabricated. I'm not saying that, a lot of journalists would do that, but it's not crazy to think that somebody wouldn't do that to make the headline more appealing, more attractive. All of a sudden, it became a huge story this morning as it was developing on our show. I mean, Dan Wolkin, friend of the show, is writing a story, USA Today, just boom, right off of the information that was out earlier today about Lafayette, about Louisiana.
It was it was apparently, I can't remember, let's see, I thought they said here. One of the newspapers down there, I think, used the word require when that was incorrect.
Right, and all it takes is one word.
Yeah, and that's what kind of set everything off. But yeah, the school, whatever, he never said it was a required thing. They just said that encourage them, hey, if you want to get involved, you could do it during your playing career. It's a $50 donation. We'd love to have it, because they want them involved post-playing career. And I said you could basically get involved during your playing career if you can come up with $50. Set aside some money. It's a $50 donation to get yourself started.
Yeah, that is a whole different ballgame. Let me find what Dan had written, if I can. Dan responds to that and says, let me see here. He wrote about it, unless he already deleted the tweet. I can't find it. But it was basically criticism on that. And if it was a requirement, there should be a criticism. That's why when I saw that story to open up our show, I was like, what is this? And we'll talk about it when Barrett Sallee joins us. We'll probably still mention it when Barrett joins us. But, yeah, people jumped on the bandwagon there because of the wording. And all it takes is one simple word to make a difference in required or optional, because it does make a lot of sense that, yeah, that's a way you can certainly step up and help. Big Ten.
And somebody did text in. It would be actually, yeah, with the Memphis, it would be the Tiger Scholarship Fund would be the equivalent.
Right, that's true. Because the
Highland 100
would be after you graduate.
Highland 100 is not part of the university. That is a booster group separate from the university.
Right.
This is the university's group.
But the Highland 100, like an alumni, the alumni association, when you are graduating, they come up and talk to you. They even talk at graduations and tell you how you can be involved further down the road with your school is by helping and giving to the alumni association. The Highland 100 would make sense to talk to them about, hey, when you're done, once a Tiger, always a Tiger. Think about, especially if you're living in the area, to become a member of the Highland 100. So, yeah, it would be
the Highland 100 wants members. Just there's no doubt. They all want members.
This would be money.
They all want money.
This would be money for the scholarship fund. Big Ten odds, according to Bet Online, to win the Big Ten championship this year. And we have a lot of people who believe that maybe this is finally going to be the year for Harbaugh to beat Ohio State. Well, Ohio State's the odds-on favorite. 1.75, 1 3/4 to 1. So 1.75, you have to lay 175 to win 100. Michigan's 2 to 1. Nebraska's 8 to 1. Penn State and Michigan State are 12-1. Wisconsin's 14-1. Iowa, Purdue, Minnesota 20-1. Northwestern's 33-1. Indiana 100-1. Maryland and Illinois 250-1, and Rutgers is 500-1. People have asked me,
don't bet on Rutgers. Don't put any money on Rutgers.
Well, don't bet on Maryland either. People have asked me numerous times this summer, different people have asked me, what do you think? What do you think about Mike Locksley? I hate the hire. I think Maryland will be awful. I don't think they'll win under Locksley. I'm looking at maybe 3 wins this year. Seriously, I think it's going to be that bad. I hope I am so wrong about him. I'm not sure I'm going to be, but I hope I'm wrong. I don't like the hire, but yeah, don't play Maryland. Maryland's going to take its lumps. I mean, they're in on some players that Mike Locksley was involved in at Alabama, and I think they got to transfer, but they've lost out on all these guys. And when push comes to shove, they're not going to Maryland for football. I wish they would, but they are going to Maryland for basketball. It's a whole different ballgame. We will take a break. When we come back,
Why would anyone go to Maryland?
It's a beautiful school. It's a beautiful state, and I love it. The preceding announcement made on behalf of Major League Baseball. Evan Barnes will join us to kick off hour number 3 as we'll talk Tiger football, and then Barrett Sallee at 12:25. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
If you're the owner of a company and you're tired of a dirty office building, or maybe you're tired of dirty restrooms, or floors and carpets that are filthy, or windows that you can't even see through, I've got a solution. Let Trinity be your cleaning solution. Trinity Professional Services. They're putting professionalism back in cleaning. They specialize in stripping and waxing and buffing floors, in cleaning carpet. Just make it seem like it's spring outside. Window cleaning where you see through and everything shines. Commercial janitorial services specializing in final construction cleaning. Hey, the people that own this company, they are big construction people. They know what needs to be done. So if you would like it done the right way, call Todd Pope or Tommy Ferrari, the former Tiger quarterback, at 833-6773. 833-6773. It's Trinity. They're your cleaning solution.
Dreaming of the coast? Wake up and run to Crab King's Seafood. For the most flavored seafood and biggest plates, there's a Crab King's near you. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or the East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Top Memphis food reviews recently picked Crab King's as a winner in their top 10 category for 2019. Now you know what the King stands for in Crab King's. The price, the portions, the service is why Crab King's is #1. So don't dream of good seafood. Make the right choice the first time and every time. Make it Crab King's. Come and devour tasty snow crabs, king crabs, shrimp, salmon, catfish, calamari, and more. Enjoy Memphis's best tasting pasta with your choice of toppings. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or the East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Crab King's is open Tuesday to Sunday. Enjoy 50% off lunch portions and dollar fountain drinks and hang out with Crab King's for Friday night parties from 8 to 10. For more information, Google Crab King's Memphis or download the app for a free drink with every order. Crab King's, always a Memphis favorite.
No matter what your past credit, no matter how much you owe on your trade, no matter if you tried to buy at another deal and were turned down, Sunrise Buick GMC can get you financed. There's never been a better time to trade. Sunrise has hundreds of new vehicles and over $5 million in used car inventory, specializing in cars and trucks under $10,000. Sunrise has the lowest prices and will not be undersold. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, Sunrise gets you financed when no one else can. Check out the inventory and apply online at sunrisememphis.com. The blowout sale going on now at all Sunrise locations, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
Jim Gaffigan, Secrets and Pies Tour.
Have you been to one of the weddings where the groom removes the girder belt from the bride and flings it to a crowd of perverts? Who came up with that one?
Hey, you know how the bride throws the bouquet? How about something for the fellas? Maybe the bride's underwear?
Jim Gaffigan, Saturday, August 17th, FedEx Forum. Reserve seats on sale now at the FedEx Forum box office or online at Ticketmaster.com.
If you're an outdoorsman and love all things hunting and fishing, be sure to listen to Sports 56 Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. for Outdoors Today. Brought to you by The Gun Store, 6920 Winchester in Memphis. Outdoors Today is a 1-hour show hosted by veteran Mark Tobin and a group of respected outdoor-loving guests. Outdoors Today is dedicated to bringing outdoorsmen tips and techniques and tactics to help with your hunting and fishing in all seasons. Saturday mornings at 6 on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1 FM.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
Wanna leave my old life behind. Not a yes, sir, not a follower. Fit the box, fit the mold, have a seat in the foyer.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:02 the time. Final hour for us today here on Sports 56 Middays. We will give way to John Harden and Johnny Radio's Happy Hour from 1 to 3. Getting you set for the sports weekend. Still the calm before the storm, right? This weekend, there's some things going on. Little NFL preseason. Not a ton of things. But next weekend, little taste of college football, with a couple of games, including that Florida-Miami game in Orlando. And then on the 31st, boom, we get hit from all sides with a bevy of college football. And there's a lot of college football on that Friday and then throughout the weekend as well, as it always is. And we are very excited. I know there's a lot of excitement around here as well for Tigers football. We will talk to our friend Evan Barnes in just a moment. I want to remind you that we are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Take advantage of their end-of-summer liquidation sale. And Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, the great folks at FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how to turn browsers into buyers. Learn how FedEx can help take your business to the next level.
That Thursday night of the first week is UCLA Cincinnati. So with UCLA Cincinnati and Memphis Ole Miss, the American Athletic Conference, two of the teams that are expected to be among the better teams, have very big games right off the bat. Both of them at home because Cincinnati is hosting UCLA in that game. So that if they both were to get wins over Power 5 opponents, that'd be a nice little start for the conference in your efforts to get that New Year's Day bowl game.
Yeah, and I forgot about the Thursday. You're right. So really kicking off earlier in the week there with Thursday and Friday games before we even get to the bevy of games on Saturday. And real quick, I was mentioning that Wolken article. Here it is. It's up. Louisiana Lafayette suggesting that football players donate $50 back to the athletic department is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Dan jumped on it because he saw the original story again with the wording that has now been changed, which makes the story completely different. So, in the media, you're trying to get that story out there, and then all of a sudden you get all the information and you realize, well, no, it's not what I originally thought. All right, Evan Barnes, kind enough to spend some time with us now to talk some Tigers football. He does a great job covering the University of Memphis football program for the Commercial Appeal. You can follow him on Twitter at Evan_B. The Tigers up at Lambeth and Jackson, and he joins us now from Jackson. Evan, appreciate your time as always. How are you?
I am good, and Greg, can I just say I'm happy to be in some air conditioning right now after being outside for the last couple hours.
Well, the thing for you, Evan, is this: like a lot of your counterparts who cover the basketball team, they get to go to the Bahamas. You get to go to Jackson. I don't know. It's a coin toss there, which one I'd rather go to, but I think I would lean towards the Bahamas.
I would rather be in the Bahamas right now than chilling, outside here in the elements. Like, don't get me wrong, Jackson is cool, but being here in the Bahamas, I think we know what we're going out from our likely summer destination this week.
I've heard a lot of comparisons between Lambeth and Atlantis. I've heard a lot of people that they'll get those two mixed up, but I don't know.
Well, normally your summer destinations, you think of Hawaii, the Bahamas, beautiful San Diego. Jackson, Tennessee is way up there. So that's where Evan is joining us from.
So go visit the Casey Jones Village or whatever.
I do every time.
There's some park there with a bunch of wild animals and stuff.
Well, you know what's funny is I haven't been over there, but I just saw the Casey Jones Hotel, and because I was a kid, like when I hear Casey Jones, I think of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because there's a character named Casey Jones in there. So that's kind of how far I go with Casey Jones.
Well, I stayed at the Casey Jones Hotel when I first drove to Memphis after I got my job in 1995. I stopped and stayed there, so I know that Casey Jones. I didn't go to the museum. And the place you're talking about, Eli, the Safari Park, I think is in...
Yeah, the Safari Park.
I want to say it's in...
I always see the billboards for it. That's all
I don't know the city, but it's not... I think it's outside of Jackson or north of Jackson. I don't think it's actually in Jackson. But so what are you seeing, Evan, from... what's going on with practice? Is it any different than what we would see right here in Memphis?
No, I don't think there's anything really different per se. I think the main thing with being up here is just guys get to get away from the grind of the routine of being at Memphis, doing what they usually do, and just kind of being able to do the same things they've done, but in a different environment. And, Mike told us that, he likes this part of practice of preseason camp because it breaks up the monotony. It gives guys a chance to get to know each other. And with this new coaching staff, it gives them a chance to get to know the players and vice versa. I know that Tim Hart told us, one of the linebackers told us that he was looking forward to getting to know new linebackers coach Kevin Clune a little bit more, just because, he was around the team last year, but, now they get to hear his story a little bit more. So really that's kind of the main thing that is changed, is just kind of guys getting to know each other a little bit and just doing the same kind of practice and drills in a different environment.
What will you expect, or what do you expect, I guess, from the scrimmage?
I think it'll be a little bit more like, a little bit more evaluation this time than last week. Obviously, there was still some evaluation, but with 2 weeks to go before Ole Miss, I think we're going to see a little bit more of, guys may play a little bit more. I asked Mike today, if he plans to, monitor guys any differently. And he said, some guys will play, some guys will be limited, some guys may not, some guys will get more reps than others. And I know that he's been very good at managing players. So if you're expected to go out there and see Patrick Taylor, DeMonte Coxie, Magnifico, and those guys play for like 4 or 5 series, that's probably reasonable. But I think, you're going to see a lot of young guys get a chance to play. You really kind of get to see the quarterbacks get some reps because this is really their last chance to kind of get that public showing before game week, really. So I think it'll be pretty, good for the fans, but really, a lot more younger players evaluation versus the vets who you're going to get something from.
The scrimmage that they had at FanFest at Liberty Bowl Stadium, the plays they ran, very vanilla. The offense was very, very vanilla. You're not gonna show much, especially with the public there. And I would imagine that'll be the same on Saturday. But it seems like in practice, which is held, public can't go, but general public, but media is there. However, your cameras are off and all that stuff. That's when they will run more of what we'll see during the games. I would imagine, again, tomorrow it'll be very similar as far as a vanilla offense.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a lot of, tricks up the sleeve or anything like that. It'll be pretty scripted. It'll be pretty straightforward, just to kind of give guys a chance to get comfortable, show what they can do, show some reps. Like, if you're going in expecting to see, a lot of, what they're going to do against Ole Miss, I doubt it. It's not going to be that case. And Mike's very smart about, showing what needs to be seen, but also making sure that the guys get the work for what needs to be done for these next 2 weeks. So I'm guessing that the next 2 weeks, you'll probably see a little bit more practice, getting ready for Ole Miss, what they're doing, and kind of just, that kind of a, plan, if you will.
Right now, from with you, as you said, basically 2 weeks to go here, what, in your mind, questions kind of still need to be answered?
I think the big question is just kind of, how good is this offensive line going to be? I think, and Greg, we were there on last week. I think the O-line, Greg, some guys were, held out a little bit, but I think the O-line didn't look as sharp as, they should have been or what we've expected to see. So I really want to see how this O-line continues to gel, continues to get better. Will they inspire a little bit more confidence from fans just from, playing together, having more experience? But that's probably my biggest concern because you know what you're getting with Brady White. Patrick Taylor is going to be ready. That the younger running backs are going to have a show. I think the O-line really is still maybe the number one question mark. But I also kind of want to see, can the defense, build on what they did last week? Mike told us that the defense really got the better of the offense. And so I want to see if they can do that again. He's been challenging them this week with some different schemes and whatnot. So I want to see if the defense can really, prove that last week wasn't just a one-time showing, but that they can continue to build off that and be this experienced unit that we've been seeing so much about. Those are probably my two biggest concerns. I'm not really worried about Brady or the running backs, honestly, at this point.
It's interesting. We just had Brad Logan on from SaturdayDownSouth.com. He covers Ole Miss and Mississippi State. And first and foremost, on his mind and on the minds of a lot of the Ole Miss fans is their revamped offensive line. And that seems like it's a big question for a lot of schools, especially the group of 5 schools, because most of the time you see the depth with the Power 5 schools with their offensive line and to some regards the defensive line. But the Tigers are in a situation where they've changed things around. Gabe Kuhn is producing our program today, Evan, and obviously he's had a lot of experience being a stalwart on the offensive line at the University of Memphis. And I know, Gabe, I want to bring him into the conversation because you and I have talked about it numerous amounts of times about that being the huge question mark for this team, as Evan just pointed out. What do you know and what do you expect? Because you know some of these guys. You know most of these guys. And you know how tough it is to find that chemistry in a short time period. So what are your concerns and what are your feelings as well, Gabe, going into this season about this offensive line that Evan just talked about?
Personally, I'm not worried about when it comes to conference play. What I am worried about is that first game against Ole Miss. There's going to be some athleticism on that other side. There's some talent. But with these guys, you got to understand, I'd say it's a question mark and not a weakness. When you look at who they have at tackle, at both tackles, these are big dudes. These are guys that they've been wanting to bring along for a while. When I was there, they were a little raw. I went to practice the other day. They look like, they're coming into their own a little bit. Scotty Dillon, Obina Eze. And I think more than anything, you're going to see a group that can pass protect pretty well. I'm not worried at all about anyone in the interior. I think, you have one guy sort of brand new, Manny Arona, and he's all you could ask for at that right guard position. So I think inside – there's going to be no issues. The only concern is definitely those tackles because they are so new. And when I was there, they were raw. So I have seen them come along a little bit, but I haven't seen enough to make a full-on judgment.
All right, fair enough. Really appreciate that. Evan Barnes is joining us from the Commercial Appeal. You said you're not worried about the quarterback. You got a veteran in Brady White. You're not worried about the running backs, despite the fact that Tony Pollard and Darrell Henderson are gone. By the way, the Rams and the Cowboys play Saturday in a preseason game in Hawaii. So Darrell Henderson and Tony Pollard for the respective teams. But what do you think about, Evan, the rotation of running backs behind Patrick Taylor? Because Mike likes to use a lot of players, whether they be in the backfield or in the slot, receiving, catching passes, doing all kinds of things that will help this offense flow. So who are the guys in that order that you think after Patrick Taylor will line up on Saturdays?
All right. So if you're asking me right now, I definitely think Kenneth Gainwell, the redshirt freshman, he's going to get a lot of looks at that number 2 because he is experienced. He's shown it in camp where he's really kind of just taking control. He's made some great plays. He looks more confident. He doesn't look like he's really worried much out there. So I think you're going to see him get a lot of looks at that number 2. I think Kylan Watkins is probably going to get some, carries as well. You guys obviously know him from Whitehaven, but he's really impressed. He's gotten some looks at the first team a little bit, but I would say Gainwell and Watkins right now are your 2 leaders to probably get, some carries behind Taylor because they can also, catch the ball really well. And I think somebody to kind of keep an eye on is Travion Samuel. He's a senior walk-on. He transferred from Troy. He was at Louisville from 2015 to 2017. I actually have a story about him today that's up on thecommercialappeal.com talking about just kind of, how he's really fitting in because he, from the first day, really kind of set himself up as someone who's experienced, who understands kind of his role, but he's picked things up really quickly in 2 weeks being here. So I think those three guys, and I've written about all of them, leading up to now, but those three guys are probably your leaders. But if I'd say who's the leader right now, Gainwell, Watkins, maybe Samuel and Tim Taylor are kind of fighting for that, number 4 spot. But Gainwell and Watkins, I think you'll definitely be seeing a lot more of on Sundays with PT.
What have you seen out of the defense, and do you expect a lot of improvement there?
I expect a lot, and the one thing that really stands out is there's a lot of depth in that front seven. I feel like when the 2 deep comes out for game week, the depth chart, you're going to see guys who probably could be rotating with the first unit easily, like guys like Everett Cunningham, Coyote Oladelli, John Tate. Those guys are pushing for more reps. It's just that the front four are all guys who've been here: Bryce Huff, O'Brien Goodson, Jonathan Wilson, and Joseph Dorcius. So there's a lot of experience up front. And I talked to defensive line coach Tim Edwards about this, and he said that it's really good that you have 6 or 7 guys who can be counted on as ones because that gives you a lot more to work with up front. So I think the front seven is really, really strong. The linebacking group is as deep as it's been under Mike Norvell. You got Austin Hall back, Tim Hart, J.J. Russell, Thomas Pickens. There are some really good guys up front who you can rotate in really well. There's no drop-off. So I think that really helps because Adam Fuller, the defensive coordinator, his whole philosophy is about being fast, tough, and smart, and the guys up front are critical to that. So I think having the experience, having guys who want to, show what they can do in a new scheme, that makes me feel like this defense up front, at least, is going to be better than it was last year. And we can only hope so because we know the last few years the defense has kind of been, bend or break, if you will.
And it was a lot of breaking, unfortunately. Chris Claybrooks is one of the stories of the camp as we look now at that secondary. And to go with a guy like T.J. Carter, really good bookends as far as the cornerbacks are concerned. Do you expect Adam Fuller's defense to be more of an attacking defense, maybe even press coverage at the line? I really have a problem when I see teams allow receivers to get off the ball without any type of chuck or anything like that. What is the philosophy of Fuller, if you even know this or even if you've broached this subject with him?
Well, it's funny you say that because TJ told us that, he expects to be more physical, with his hands more. So I think, maybe we'll see a little bit more press coverage. I don't know for sure if that's, in the scheme there, but TJ Carter said that he definitely wants to be more physical. You see in practice, guys aren't giving that soft coverage anymore. Like guys are being closer to the line of scrimmage and being more physical with the receivers. So I think that's really going to help change the tone because, like you said, I think giving up 5 yards, basically now with the way offenses are going, you're giving up easy money every time because they're going to take that 5 yards every time. So if you press guys up, you're physical, and they have the secondary that can do that with Carter, with Claybrooks, with some of the safeties, especially LaAndre Thomas being healthy. I think that really helps because you cover more ground. You don't give guys that free lane. And it really can change kind of what this defense looks like. And you mentioned Claybrooks. We asked Norvell about this before they left, and he said straight up that in every aspect, Claybrooks is one of our best players because he's so versatile. He's so quick. He can play, cornerback. He's returning kicks with other guys. So he's such a versatile guy that I think he's really going to have a breakout year if he stays healthy because he's going to get tested a lot with guys not throwing at TJ Carter.
A scrimmage is 10 o'clock tomorrow?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. at Lambeth in Jackson. It is open to the public if you want to go check out the Tigers in their second dress rehearsal. Make sure to follow Evan Barnes on Twitter at Evan_B. Read all his great stories at the Commercial Appeal. Evan, thank you as always, man. Really appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, great. Eli, you guys take care.
You too.
Thanks, Evan. Folks over at Edwin Watts, Jay was telling us on Wednesday, they continue to get new stuff in, new fall arrivals. That includes some stuff right now that you can go over there and hit, some new clubs and things that they don't even technically have in store, but they do have demo models for you to go hit and try them out. From Titleist, you've got the new T100 irons that are the T100, the T200, and the T300, the new irons from Titleist. A lot of the other club makers coming out with their new fall releases as well, whether it be clubs, whether it be apparel, shoes, balls, whatever things you need for your golf game. The folks at Edwin Watts have it for you. And again, new stuff coming on a daily basis. So go check it out. And always, you can hit it right there in the store. They've got a couple of hitting bays with the launch monitor there to give you feedback. So you can try out a bunch of different clubs, find the one that you like the best, that you hit the best, and then get fitted for that club. Make sure you got the proper shaft, all the other stuff in it. You can do all of that right there in the store at Edwin Watts. So go by, check out the new stuff, talk to Jay and the gang, and get ready for what is going to be some great fall weather with great golf weather coming up once we get into the fall, cools down a little bit. Great time to get out and play some golf, and you can get all your supplies at Edwin Watts. They're open 7 days a week. Poplar and Perkins Extended. Go see them at Edwin Watts.
Barrett Sallee from CBS Sports and Sirius XM Radio is next. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Lemon Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Lemon Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
To yours, Wolf Chase Lim and Brace.
It was great bumping into you the other day. I never see you outside of this place.
When did we bump into each other?
Saturday. We talked for like 5 minutes.
That was you?
My point is we should hang out more.
Let me guess.
At Central Barbecue. We could make it a regular thing.
I love Central Barbecue, and I go there a lot, but, I'm pretty busy.
We could be Central Barbecue buddies.
I got the morning show and lots of other radio things going on all the time.
People would see us, and they'd say, hey, there's those Central Barbecue buddies.
You know, all right, I got kids.
Bring them along. We'll be a Central Barbecue crew.
I'm leaving the country.
Season tickets for the 2019 Memphis Tigers football season are on sale now and start at $100 when you buy 4 in the Family Fun Zone and $150 for end zone seats. The 6-game home schedule is highlighted with matchups against regional foe Ole Miss, plus AAC rivals Cincinnati and Navy. A season ticket includes the same great seat for all 6 home games, plus priority options to buy single game tickets, bowl tickets, and more. Be part of the incredible game day experience and get your seats today at GoTigersGo.com or call 901-678-2331. Stripe up.
Hey Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 66, 96.1 and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week on the Blue and Gray Show, joining John in studio, Sports 56's very own and former Memphis lineman Gabe Kuhn. The president of the U of M, David Rudd, will be calling in along with some other surprise callers.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays, 12:24 the time. Final 30 and change for us today and this week, getting you set for the sports weekend. We've been talking a lot of college football today, and rightly so. It is just about upon us, and we will continue that conversation. We do it each and every Friday during the college football season at this time with our good friend Barrett Sallee from CBS Sports, CBS Sports HQ, Sirius XM College Radio. You can follow him on Twitter at Barrett Sallee. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Barrett, what's going on?
Not much, guys. How are you?
Doing good. We were trying to decipher everything with this Lafayette story, this Louisiana story earlier. I saw you tweet it out, and then all of a sudden it changed. It's like it was wording was the difference, was the key in this story. So give us a little explanation of what's gone down for people who haven't heard the story yet.
Well, the Advocate, which is a paper in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Acadiana, which is southwest Louisiana, said that ULL players are required to donate at least $50 to the Raging Cajuns Athletics Fund, which is basically its booster club. Billy Napier was quoted on it on Wednesday, and it didn't really come out until this morning in the Advocate. And then, not to say that this was a reaction, but it might have been a reaction. The school released a statement saying that they're not required, they're encouraged. That was, I don't know, about an hour or two after some pretty substantial Twitter backlash. So either way, I mean, whether they were required or not, I think the school encouraged the players, and maybe even said they required them to donate to their fund to basically be their own boosters and, supply some money for things such as, full cost of attendance, athletic training facilities, things like that. So basically they're asking them to foot the bill of the stuff that they usually would get under scholarships anyway, which whether it's encouraged or required is still pretty shady.
It really is. It's funny. I was saying, we're in this world now where players would love to be paid. Obviously the profit revenue making sports, and we want to get paid. Now it's like, wait a minute, what's going on here at Lafayette? They want the players.
We're paying you.
We're paying you. So I saw that. I went, wow. I had to talk about it. It was right when we started the show. I saw your tweet, and I opened it up with that. But then obviously things have changed a little bit as the morning has progressed. So interesting.
Barrett, how surprised were you at all, or if at all, that Tate Martell did not get that starting job in Miami?
I was surprised that he's not going to walk out with the Hurricanes in the first series as a starting quarterback. I'm not surprised that there was a debate. I thought that at least, throughout the summer, I had heard a lot of people saying that he wasn't all that and they were struggling and that Jaron Williams that they had to pick would be the guy. That said, after all the off-season turmoil and hubbub and all the stuff that they went through, it seemed to me like it was only smart to give him at least the first shot at it. But apparently he's been really bad. So, I'm not surprised that Jaron Williams is going to play. Like I said, I thought that they'd probably start Tate Martell just to, A, keep him around, which is probably most important, but then B, see if he's all that he's cracked up to be, with the knowledge that he's probably not going to take every snap versus Florida. So now that he's not starting and might not even be the number 2 quarterback, I'm very interested to see where he goes now.
Let me ask you, since we're on the subject of quarterbacks, we were talking, I think it was earlier this week, about Justin Fields and the expectations. Obviously, he came to Georgia with high expectations, didn't work out for him there. What do you expect in this first year at Ohio State for Fields?
I think he's going to be a competent quarterback. I don't know if he's going to be a difference maker. And it's unfair to Justin, but it seems like people are divided into two camps in terms of who he is. Mm-hmm. Some think he's the guy with all the potential and the guy who is a 5-star quarterback and number 2 overall and going to be a Heisman contender and maybe even a Heisman Trophy winner. And then there are the others who say, well, he's terrible. He was awful at Georgia. Every time we saw him, he was not reading defense as well. And I mean, the real Justin Fields is in between. At Georgia, he was asked to do things that he wasn't good at because they wanted to develop him. Ryan Day's not going to do that. So of the things he is good at, how good is he? So I tend to think he's going to be good enough to keep them as the front runner in the Big Ten, which could mean a college football playoff appearance, and I think it will, but that he's not good enough to actually win and lead a team to the national championship. To me, he's, not to say they have the same skill set, but he's like Jake Browning at Washington or Connor Cook at Michigan State. good enough to get you there. JT Barrett at Ohio State, good enough to get you there, but beyond that, doesn't have what it takes. And that might change next year, and it might be wrong this year. But I think, he still has to develop a little bit. I think what Georgia did last year didn't necessarily set him back, but I think it sort of put his progress in neutral for an entire year, and it's going to take him a little while to sort of, get it back. Because, let's be honest, like he's more or less a freshman now still, because he didn't really play a significant role, and the offense is completely different.
You wrote, if I'm not mistaken, I think you wrote about Baylor as a team you are interested in for this year.
I wrote Texas A&M. Tom wrote.
It was him that wrote Baylor. You wrote Texas A&M. Because I wanted to go to the Big 12 with you a little bit. Is it clearly Oklahoma, or do you believe in Texas for this year? Is there somebody there that could surprise either one of those two?
Well, I think Texas and Oklahoma are far more likely to beat each other up than one become a power or stay a power in Oklahoma's case. So, I think Texas and Oklahoma are going to be solid. I do think that Oklahoma will take a little bit of a step back just because the offense will be different, and I don't know if it's going to be as effective. And we all know the defense. You can't just assume that Alex Grinch is going to come in there and be the savior. And I do think Texas is there in terms of being a contender, and beyond that, a college football playoff caliber team. I don't know, but certainly comparable to Oklahoma in terms of the Big 12. But I think the Big 12 is far more likely to beat itself up this year. You're going to have a healthy TCU. You have Iowa State, which defensively very underrated. I think, a team like Oklahoma State can never be overlooked. That's one of the better coaches in the country, and Mike Gundy. You don't want to count out Chris Kleiman at Kansas State. There's just so many teams that are competitive and capable of springing upsets that I think, because Texas is air quote back, and you have other good teams and good coaches that just suffered some bad luck last year, that it's far more likely that, if Texas and Oklahoma are the best, great, and I think they are, but I do think they'll stumble enough along the way to perhaps knock themselves out of the playoff.
Barrett Sallee joins us from CBS Sports HQ, Sirius XM College Radio. You can follow him on Twitter at Barrett Sallee. You just mentioned the name Chris Kleiman. The question I wanted to ask you, if you throw Ryan Day out of the mix, who's been an interim and now he's the head guy at Ohio State, of all the new coaches this upcoming season, who has the best season?
The best season, I wouldn't say it's Kleiman, because they'll finish 6-6 or so, but they might be a really solid 6-6. Of the new coaches, the best season, that's a good question. I honestly have no idea. I don't think it's going to be Mac Brown. There's nobody in the SEC. The Big Ten hasn't had a ton of turnover. Maybe Matt Wells or Chris Kleiman, one of those two, I guess. I love Matt Wells at Texas Tech. I don't necessarily know if it's going to be this year, but I think that he is fully capable of bringing that program back to the Mike Leach glory days if he sticks around for a certain amount of years. I don't think he will. I think he'll get a better job, but man, that's a tough one. I'd say probably Chris Kleiman, I guess, just because of the first-year head coaches. There hasn't been anything that sort of suggests that any of them are going to knock your socks off.
No, and what do you think about Hugh Freeze with first of all, he's got the back issue, so hopefully that's okay. But it's Liberty. You're not going to get a ton of great players there, but it is Hugh Freeze. He's done some pretty interesting things in his career. You think all of a sudden that Hugh Freeze, and I don't know what Liberty was before. I'm not some expert on Liberty's football history, but how well do you think he'll do? And do you think that eventually could lead to a bigger, high-profile job for Hugh?
I think it could. I think it will take a while for him to land that job. But I think in the meantime, he's actually a really good fit for Liberty, because on the field, his coaching ability can't be denied. I know folks will say, well, they were cheating, they were on sanctions and all this other stuff. Okay, yeah, but it's not like those rosters were better than Alabama, LSU, and Auburn. In fact, they were still significantly worse than those teams, and yet Freeze still found a way to beat all those teams. So, I think he's going to get a better job eventually. I don't think it'll be anytime soon. And I think he's actually the perfect coach at the right time for Liberty because they just made the jump a couple of years ago. They went 6-6 last year under Turner Gill. They were ineligible for a bowl game because of the transition, but that's a pretty solid foundation. It's a good, fertile recruiting ground. He's a good recruiter, and he's going to make that program desirable because, they go play the big boys. If you're a 2 or 3 star kid and you feel like you can get coached up by him because of the success he's had, why not go there and say, okay, we're going to go play paycheck games, a few times per year. And hopefully if they had their way, get into a pretty decent conference, which I think they will. I think long term, he's going to get a better job, but short term, he's the right guy at the program's right stage to really bring it out of its sort of infancy and into a much more successful time.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
What about the new coach or whatever? What about Manny Diaz? Do you have much faith in Miami?
Actually, you know what? I should have said Manny Diaz. Didn't even think about it.
That's right. Because I was just thinking about it myself.
I didn't even think about it.
I did put him on the spot.
I was trying to rack my brain, and I was like, because I kind of do. I think Miami could have a pretty decent year this year, and I was like, okay, that I guess.
I do too. I should have thought of that because I'm actually going to that game in a week. So, I think Manny's a really good coach. Defensively, he helped build that defense to what it is. It's still really solid defensively. I know folks say, okay, what are you going to get from Jaron Williams? And I get that, but I think I put them as my coastal winner, and I do think they'll lose to Florida. But you look after that Florida game, that's cake, and that they are significantly better from a talent perspective across the board. I think Manny will still have some hiccups in terms of how he operates the game because all first-time head coaches do. But who's going to beat them in that division? Virginia, okay. Virginia Tech, all right. I know the Virginia hype is big, but it's still Miami. It's still a really good program with a lot of talent. So, I think Manny Diaz can do a good job. I think talent will take him a long way, and familiarity with the program will help sort of bridge that gap too. So, I'm excited to see it. I'm really excited to see Jaron Williams. I've heard about him when he was a high school kid. He's not just some unknown player. He was a 4-star kid, one of the more highly touted quarterbacks they've ever signed out of high school. He fits what Dan Enos wants to do, more so than Tate Martell and N'Kosi Perry for sure. So I think that team's going to be fun, even if they lose to Florida, which I do think they will. Moving forward, where are the other losses coming from? Because I don't see them.
You guys dropped your best team in each state, and you have Memphis as the best team in the state of Tennessee. If you want, you could take full credit for that. I don't know if you deserve full credit for that, but you like Memphis as being better than Tennessee right now?
Well, yeah, it's more program, not necessarily team heading into the season. Me and Ben both did that, although I did write the blurb for the state of Tennessee. But, it can't be the Vols. They've lost to Vanderbilt 3 straight years and have been a complete disaster, right?
Yeah, I guess, so then you have to go to Vanderbilt. Yeah, that eliminates you when you've lost to one of the other teams in the state for 3 straight years.
Right. You're disqualified. So you can't say Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt's Vanderbilt, right? So almost by default, you have to say Memphis. And that's not even factoring in what they've done, through, Norvell back to Fuente. They've been a really solid program. And to say that about Memphis is crazy. You tell, 10-year-old me or 20-year-old me that Memphis is a good football program, I'd call you crazy. But it's the truth, So, it has to be Memphis based on the success they've had. I would be surprised if it's not Tennessee this time next year. But until they beat Vanderbilt and until they show that they're a pretty good football team again, it can't be anybody other than Memphis, and it's certainly not Tennessee.
I said on the show, speaking of Tennessee, I said on the show that I believe Tennessee, and it may not just be the amount of W's, but I think it will be the most improved team from a year ago in the SEC. If I'm going to ask you that question, who do you think will be the most improved team?
Tennessee.
There we go. We agree.
Because here's the thing: they've already shown what they're capable of. The Tennessee-Auburn game was on, I think it was SEC Network. It might have been ESPN. Doesn't matter. It was on a few days ago. I mean, they looked good, like legit good in that game. So, I mean, that's the consistency is the problem, and which is a problem for teams that are rebuilding pretty much all the time. But, I mean, you build off that. You have the receivers. You have the running backs. Offensive line's a question. I get that, and so is defensive front to an extent. So, but, yeah, I mean, in that division with everybody else sort of behind Georgia, it's all kind of a toss-up, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if, instead of losing a lot of those toss-up games like Tennessee did last year, if they win a few and improve, not just from a football perspective, but from a record perspective. I mean, 5-7. I mean, okay, a 2 or 3 game jump. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all.
I completely agree. One more for you before we let you go. We've been bouncing around a lot of coaching questions here with Barrett before we actually get to some games starting a week from Saturday. But down in Tallahassee, what is going to be the fan perspective on Willie Taggart and that program? In other words, how much patience will that fan base have, and what do you expect in year 2 for Taggart and the Noles?
I think they're going to be okay. Not great, but not bad. I think the biggest thing for them and the biggest thing for the administration is just to show that they're managed properly, to show that they're organized properly, because that was the most disorganized team I've ever seen in my life. I mean, there are Pop Warner teams that had more organization and knowledge of how to line up than that team did. So that's the biggest thing is learn how to line up correctly, learn how to, actually play football like regular people, because they didn't even seem like they knew that. And so, I mean, that's the biggest thing is organization and structure, and they don't have that yet. We haven't seen it. So I think you'll see a little bit of an improvement there. And then beyond that, still got good players. They got to find an offensive line, and that seems to be the case about Florida State every season. But, improving from 5-7 to 7-5, 8-4, I think that's okay. I think that would be enough to certainly give him another year, and also it would be enough to sort of quiet down the frustration that exists in Tallahassee. Because, I mean, if they come out and look as disorganized as they were last year, especially in that Boise State game in week 1, oh, man. FSU Twitter will lose its dang mind.
Well, this week, or next week rather, at this time, we'll be talking to Barrett as he'll be heading to Orlando for the first game between Florida and Miami, and the kickoff of the season really in earnest the week after that, with games starting on Thursday. It is here, ladies and gentlemen, and we're so happy to have Barrett with us every Friday to talk college football. You can check him out at CBS Sports, CBS Sports HQ, Sirius XM College Radio, and you can follow him on Twitter at Barrett Sallee. Have a great weekend, Barrett. Thank you, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
Well, as I mentioned, Jim Gaffigan is going to be at FedEx Forum tomorrow night. He was just on one of the late night shows earlier this week. Was that on Kimmel? I think he was on Kimmel. I think he was on Kimmel earlier this week. He is in Memphis tomorrow night. He's an 8 o'clock show down at FedEx Forum. We've got a pair of tickets to go see Jim Gaffigan tomorrow night at FedEx Forum. If you want to laugh a little bit for your Saturday night, the final Saturday before we start having college football games, let's do caller number 7. Caller number 7 will get 2 tickets to go see Jim Gaffigan at FedEx Forum tomorrow night. Caller number 7.
Is that in honor of any college football player who wears 7? Any specific?
No, it's for lucky 7. It's just lucky. It's a lucky number. 360-8255, the phone number for the First Bank phone line. Caller number 7 gets the tickets, and I believe we have caller number 7 already. So,
by the way,
congratulations to whoever that is.
Dan Wolken tweeting out that he watched the press conference. Billy Napier did say it was mandatory, according to Dan. Supposedly, the school stepped in, which is what Barrett was just talking about. And let's say, supposedly the school stepped in shortly after to say that was wrong. It took 2 days for it to go national, but the story here isn't the media machine. It's the root of the idea. That's what Dan was talking about with his story. But, yeah, originally it was said mandatory, but they have walked back from that. We will take a break. We'll come back and we'll put a wrap on this Friday edition of Middays right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab a seat for happy hour. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. Group play and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish. But there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
Let's say you just bought a house. Bad news is, you're one step closer to becoming your parents. Soon you'll have a separate fridge in the basement, where extra groceries are exiled forever. Remember that frozen lasagna? Of course you don't. It's been down there since 2008. Good news is, it's easy to bundle home and auto through Progressive and save on your car insurance. Piece of cake. Behind the lasagna, it's very old. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays, presented by FedEx.
Here once again
Our great Gaston and Eli Savoie.
we're caught in a trap. I can't walk out.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:48 the time. Final few minutes here on Sports 56 Middays. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour to follow from 1 to 3. And then Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. We have the weekend, and then, boom, we're getting to game week next week. I know it's not game week for Memphis and Ole Miss and for most teams, but it will be for a couple of teams. And the start of college football next Saturday, a week from tomorrow, with Miami taking on the University of Florida in Orlando. So the countdown continues.
You know, Evan Barnes, obviously he's got to cover their camp, but it could have been worked out really well for. We're talking about, you know, he didn't get to go to the Bahamas like the guys who cover basketball get to. If he could have somehow finagled a way that he could have said, why, with the Rams and Cowboys playing each other, it'd be easy for me to do a feature on both Henderson and Pollard. The game just so happens to be in Hawaii. I probably should go there for that game.
Yeah, after the money they spent, though, to send the other crew down to the Bahamas, I'm sure that wasn't going to sit well. But, yeah, that would have been pretty good. I'm glad you came up with that. But at least, hey, if you don't try, right, you never know.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Isn't that amazing, though, of all the games and all the combinations that we could have? The second preseason game, or second week of the preseason, happens to be the Rams and the Cowboys. You have the Rams, who will probably undoubtedly hold Todd Gurley out again. Darrell Henderson will get some more totes. Same deal going on with Dallas. Not an injury, but the holdout with Zeke. So Pollard will get his carries. They're playing each other, and they happen to be playing in Hawaii. Is that game on national TV by any chance, Saturday night?
I assume it is, but I do not know that.
That's cool.
NFL Network or somebody has it. If they're doing the game in Hawaii, mainly, I don't know what time it's actually going to be played, but I would guess that it's probably on some sort of very least NFL network.
But you still will not watch. Can we twist your arm on that one?
There's a reason I don't know whether it's on national television. I haven't looked. I haven't looked to see.
I will actually be at the Gaffigan concert. I'm going to see Jim Gaffigan. I'm looking forward to that. By the way, Patrick Cantlay, now your leader at the BMW Championship, which is the second playoff event of the FedEx Cup playoffs. There's 1 week after this, and that's the Tour Championship. So that means only the top 30 move on to Atlanta next week. 70 right now are competing, and Cantlay 3 under through 7 in his second round after shooting a 66 yesterday. Is at 9 under. Adam Hadwin, Lucas Glover, Hideki Matsuyama at 8 under par. There's a host of players at 7, including Justin Thomas, who has not teed off yet. Justin Thomas, along with Jason Kokrak, your first-round leaders, shot 7 under, and that tied the course record at Medina.
That game is on the NFL Network. 9 o'clock tomorrow night for all of you.
Maybe I'll tape it.
That are so inclined to watch preseason football.
Where would I be on your list of like just craziness if I tape it? DVR a preseason game.
You would not move anywhere.
Okay, so it'd be the same as just watching it, period. Okay.
You're way up on that list of anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I looked up Canadian Football League rosters the other day.
Well, there you go. Exactly. New Life Medical Center, 9160 Highway 64. That's the new location. They've been there for a few months now, I guess. They're open 7:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, 9 to 1 on Saturday. You do not need an appointment to go by and see them. And they do sick visits. They could treat a lot of different things. Testosterone replacement therapy is what I go see them for. But they could treat sports injuries, joint injuries. They've got stem cell treatments, the platelet-rich plasma treatments, weight loss programs. They can do a lot of different things for you, helping you feel better or treating what is ailing you at New Life Medical Center. 45% of men over the age of 30 have low testosterone. So go get your level checked out. If you are low, they can get you on that testosterone replacement therapy, which will help you feel better, gives you more energy, increased sex drive, helps you sleep better. You get some weight loss, especially right around some belly fat. You can lose that. It will certainly make a difference. It has made a difference for me. So go see them. New Life Medical Center, 9160 Highway 64, 213-0100, the phone number, online at newlifemedcenters.com. Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
Former Major League Baseball slugger Josh Hamilton, last played in the Major Leagues in 2015, is going into the Texas Rangers Hall of Fame this weekend, and he told an interesting story here. I'm not sure who he published at the Players Tribune, actually. So it's a piece in the Players Tribune. He was the 2010 American League MVP, and as everybody knows, with Josh Hamilton, who follows baseball, had his issues with drugs, and he's battled back from that to make a return to baseball, then got hit with injuries, and it slowed him down. But Josh Hamilton's been out of baseball now for 4 years now. He says he heard the Holy Spirit talking to him before hitting a home run in Game 6 of the 2011 World Series. Quote, "We're in that deciding game, and suddenly I'm in the on-deck circle in extra innings, and I'm telling you, out of nowhere, I hear the Holy Spirit talking to me. This is the honest truth, for real," Hamilton wrote. "I'm standing there getting ready to bat, and I hear it clear as day. You're about to hit a homer right now, son." And I'm like, huh? Okay. Then I take a couple more hacks in the on-deck circle. A few moments later, I walk up to the plate, step into the box, and the very first pitch I see, blammo, not whammo, blammo, home run, 2-run lead for the Rangers. Are you kidding me? Interesting, because here's a guy who's battled the demons before. He's battled the drugs. He's found God. He's very religious now. A lot of people would say, yeah, absolutely. That's a believable story. Others would say, come on. Probably somebody in the first row. You're probably drugged out, and you heard somebody in the front row say that.
Did he mention, did he tell Josh that David Freese was going to later hit one?
Yeah, he also talked about in the Tribune, obviously the Cardinals were able to
Did
win.
He mention you're going to hit one now, but David Freese is going to win the game later?
No, he didn't hear that voice.
Should have kept listening.
Interesting story nonetheless.
Selfish when you just listened to him tell you about your home run. You should have listened to what he was going to do for the other team. This afternoon down at FedEx Forum, the Grizzlies are having their Grizzlies garage sale. It goes from 2 to 7 today inside the grand lobby at FedEx Forum. You can buy, well, it's a garage sale. You can buy all kinds of crap. That's what they've got autograph stuff.
All kinds of crap.
They got basketballs, shoes, jerseys, novelty items. They've got some furniture. They've got electronic. They got all kinds of stuff. It's the Grizzlies garage sale. And again, it's from 2 to 7, and the proceeds go to St. Jude, so that's great as well.
Mm-hmm.
They've got food trucks down there up until 2 o'clock. They're going to have a DJ on hand, but again, the garage sale itself starts at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So if you want to go down there, get you some Grizzly stuff, get you all kinds of stuff, go check it out. 2 to 7 in the grand lobby of FedEx Forum, the Grizzlies garage sale.
And you can get some great discounts, rather. You can get some...
Well, it's a garage sale. Yes, of course you can.
Well, yeah, but, with today's garage sales, and it's probably yesterday's garage sales as well, you go up there, you put like $1 on the thing or $2, and somebody tries to barter with you for 50 cents. I don't think you could do that with this Grizzlies deal. How many walk up there and go, give me that old Marcus? No, it's brand new, but I say old because he's no longer with the Grizzlies. Marcus All jersey. What's it listed at? $70? I'll give you $5 for it. See, is there bartering going on? That's what I want to know.
I don't like the fact they hold it in the grand lobby. I think they should have it in the parking garage. It's a garage sale. Put it in the garage.
Our thanks to Brad Logan, Evan Barnes, Barrett Salee for joining us on the program today. Big shout out to all of you folks. You know who you are. We really appreciate you listening to the program as much as you can. Some of you each and every day. Thank you also for your calls and for your texts and your other responses. Really appreciate your patronage to the program. We are back Monday starting at 10 o'clock, so hopefully you'll join us for that at 10 o'clock on Monday. But right now, don't touch that dial. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour is coming up next. For Gabe Kuhn, Austin Eldridge, and Eli Savoie, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend, everybody.
The Vargas family, legendary Memphis restaurateur, starting with Mr. Charlie and continuing today with his grandchildren.
Brett, it just dawned on me the other day that while Memphis is celebrating its bicentennial, the Rendezvous has been here well over one-third of Memphis's existence. Someone asked me if we remember the day the Rendezvous started, and I tell them no, because if we thought it was going to last this long, we'd have kept much better records. But we're not a place to rest on our laurels or reputation. We're always trying to add new things to make our customers' experience more enjoyable. Friday lunches have always been special because we give away our red beans and rice. But we are now adding a sausage sandwich. It's the same sausage we serve on our cheese and sausage plate, but it will be served lengthwise on the bun with beans and slaw on the side. We've also partnered with a company called Devillet out of Dyersburg to introduce a new sweet glazed mustard with Rendezvous seasoning in it. It will really go great with a sandwich. I still recommend adding slaw. My grandfather had a hot dog stand on Beale Street in 1916, and we've come full circle using his slaw on our hot dogs. Hope to see you this Friday at the Rendezvous.
In the alley in downtown Memphis.
If you're the owner of a company and you're tired of a dirty office building, or maybe you're tired of dirty restrooms, or floors and carpets that are filthy, or windows that you can't even see through, I've got a solution. Let Trinity be your cleaning solution. Trinity Professional Services. They're putting professionalism back in cleaning. They specialize in stripping and waxing and buffing floors, in cleaning carpet. Just make it seem like it's spring outside. Window cleaning where you see through and everything shines. Commercial janitorial services specializing in final construction cleaning. Hey, the people that own this company, they are big construction people. They know what needs to be done. So if you would like it done the right way, call Todd Pope or Tommy Ferrari, the former Tiger quarterback, at 833-6773. 833-6773. It's Trinity. They're your cleaning solution.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkheimer for Sunrise Chevy. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch has over 500 new vehicles to choose from with interest low as 0% and rebates up to $7,500. A $5 million used car inventory specializing in late model GM certified and cars and trucks under $10,000. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, it's okay.